Hey, hey, I already see people in the chat. Hey, Adam, it's party time. Oh, hell yeah. Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. All five of us that are currently watching, or I'm here, obviously, and the five that have joined in. Just a second here. Let me um, kill the TV sound. Like I said, I like to be able to see what you guys are seeing. So, sorry. Hope everybody had a good Friday, good week. I am just so happy it's the weekend. Let's just put it that way. that that is the bomb diggity to me. So, good evening, Adam. Good evening, Tom. Uh, Looks like I lost somebody, but that's okay. Like I said, I expect people to bump in and out. It's a Friday. Yes. And if you made it here, that means you made it through the end of the week. And so, congratulations. Uh, Everybody always, hey, by the beach. Nice to see you made it, buddy. Hope you had a good week also. I bet you feel like a little kid like I do watching that tracking number now. um, hey, Dan. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. Hey, we're up to five people real quick. Yes. I feel like that every time I place an order, no matter if it's slot cars or anything. It's like, oh, goody, 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 goody. Okay, so they shipped it, and when could I expect it? I start tracking it every day, and then I just get more disappointed every day when I look at the post office tracking. I've had literally, guys, I've had stuff circle Kansas City's distribution area in Kansas City, Missouri, three times before it actually left the place and made its way down to Springfield, Missouri. I literally, in 3 days, could have driven there and driven back because it's only like 2.5 hours away and picked up my package. Instead, it would leave, it would come back. It would leave, it would come back. And I'm like, where the hell's it going? Apparently, it was having a better time touring the state of Missouri than I was. Been there also, yes. Who are you? What is your business? Me personally, my name is Scott. This is Scott's House of HO Racing, and that is actually the name of my business, Scott's House of HO Racing. You can Google me. I'm on. They moved our Google businesses to Google Maps. I do an online business, buy and sell slot cars, trade sometimes. So if you're interested in anything, just message me through the website, and I'll be more than happy to sell you whatever I got, or if you've got a certain car that you're looking for, I make a list of people and the cars, and if I come across them, then I let them know, hey, I found this car. If you're interested, let me know. If not, then I'm going to turn around and try to sell it. So also, and I forgot to do it, so I'm going to do it for sure tomorrow. But before we get started on tomorrow on my stuff, very important, two things I got to roll out there. First, tomorrow is Dan at Slot Valley Racing's 1 year anniversary for being on YouTube. I implore everybody, please, I've put the link to his website for the live stream. Please hit the notification bell, subscribe to his website, watch a few of his videos, give him some thumbs up. He puts a lot of work into these videos, and I know he appreciates the interaction just as much as I do because we talk about our videos and stuff. And slot cars 99.9% of the time, and that's what I love about the one thing that I've done with this channel is I've made so many more friends in a hobby that I just had my little local amount of friends too. And so with the power of YouTube and the ability just to share my passion for the hobby is and basically allowed me to meet other people that are just enthusiastic about the hobby as I am. So thank you all that are currently subscribed. If you're not a subscriber and you do enjoy HO slot car racing, please subscribe. This isn't the only thing that I always do. Trust me, I'm just going through a phase like we all do in life. And right now I'm having to move. So please, everybody, go over there, hit the notification bell on Dan, and let him know that you're going to be there tomorrow to help support him and his channel and all his hard work. Hey, thank you, U of M. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you again for the tip for eBay. A gentleman had asked me what my business was, and I was getting ready to tell him I'm going to include my eBay business link in the next live feed that I do. So that any of you are interested, every Sunday I post cars that I have for sale on eBay. Simply follow that link, bookmark me as one of your favorite sellers, and then you'll know that every Sunday I put out cars. If you're interested in any of those cars, I can't tell you what to do, but if I were you, I would connect with Scott outside of eBay and connect with him through the YouTube or the or his business, and see what kind of a better deal I can get you versus what I have to do on eBay. Because I'll be honest, I have to mark it up a little bit more just to help cover the fees that they just did. And just speaking of fees, quick timeout. Just so everybody knows, holiday shipping fees for the U.S. Postal Service take effect October 1st. So there you go. So that means your postage is going to go up to ship stuff. Um, Thankfully, I don't ship through eBay. I go through Ship Pirate, and they give me a better deal. So, and I actually ship exactly what it costs to get to your door. I'm not one of those people that adds packing or none of that crap. All right, and I said I had two things before we get started on tonight because I've got a lot to go through. Evil Bay, yes. That's why I called it in the previous videos. In fact, I got to go through and mark out some of those because some people have purchased some of those cars. So if you go back through any of those Evil Bay videos, and if you look at the description, I put the list of the cars, and if it says sold, obviously it's sold, and if it doesn't say sold, I'm going to update that tonight. Then that means that it's still available and you can contact me about it. Or like I said, you can view it on Evil Bay and look at the pictures yourself and see if you even want to make an offer on it. So the second thing, like I said, I need to mention, and U of M, while you're here, if you don't mind, post it in the chat, the email for Ryan and Tim for the auction, for the support. I think it was support at protinkertoys.com. I couldn't remember exactly, and I didn't want to put the wrong one in there. But this is what, guys, this is if you're a HO slot car fan and you have not been keeping up with protinkertoys.com auctions, you are so missing out. I have seen so many cars that I haven't seen for years. I've seen cars I've never seen before, cars that look like literally just pulled off the shelf and put up for sale. So if you are an HO slot car enthusiast and you just happen to stumble on this channel, because I have noticed that about 50% of the people that watch this channel are first-time viewers. They've never seen it. They just stumbled across it. So those are the ones that I'm imploring to help support the channels and all HO slot car channel creators, because none of us are getting paid. We do it because we love it. And with your support, it just encourages us to keep going forward. So without that, but anyway, their auction night, now they're going to start doing it on cars that when they do the featurette on Friday, they want you to submit emails for what you believe that a good starting price for that particular car should be. And if memory serves me correct, they usually do around 5 cars weekly. And Tim shows them off in his featurette on Friday, which you need to subscribe to and get the notifications on, because that's always a good time. Join in on the chat. It's always educational. Yes, exactly, Patrick. Or I'm sorry, by the beach. Great deals on the cars at Pro Tinker and the auctions on race night. He's nailed it to a T. I couldn't say it any better myself. And then I included in my link, since I didn't know the exact email address that wants to be submitted to, but I will find it out and I will add it below. But until then, if you're not a subscriber to Pro Tinker, you can go down to the description of this video, and I've hit a link to their web store. And then they've got links to every single way that you want to contact them: Facebook, Twitter, I mean, it's Instagram, you name it. They're way easier to contact than I am. I'm just pretty much a Gmail and YouTube and Google. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, those are the two important things that we need to do, guys, to show our support for the hobby and show them that we appreciate that Brian made the investment to buy that collection, and it's my understanding he bought another collection that he's going to be doing the same thing for to kind of keep it going. And this is our way of showing the support for them doing that, because he didn't have to buy those and he didn't have to put them up for auction like this. He could have just slapped them on eBay and probably made a lot more money on a lot of those cars, to be quite honest. Hey, thank you, Adam. No, and we appreciate the fact that's why I know I heard Ryan today when I finally got a chance to get in. Like I said, I was working from home, but as luck would have it, I got stuck working where I couldn't even join in working until when I did. But you know, just them hopping on the feed last night and chiming in for a little while. And I'm so sorry I missed Tim's stuff while I was rapping about the cars. that it just meant a lot because, you know, I pump out a lot of videos and I encourage people to go to their store a lot. I don't get paid anything to do it. It's just because I support the people that support the hobby. And Brian, Ryan, and Tim are some great down-to-earth people to work with. Um, the humor's never ending. I'm sorry. I followed him, like I mentioned last night, from before they even had 500 subscribers. And um, uh, Brian would just freak out if there were more people watching than there were thumbs up. I mean, he would just freak. I don't understand why. And then there was this one guy that just kept hitting thumbs down every single day. It used to make Brian want to pop an aneurysm. I'm serious. And I know that guy, when he figured out that it was starting to upset, he just kept doing it just to see he was upset. I don't know if they ever figured out who that was, but I'm just saying, I followed them for a long time. It's nice to see that they've grown big enough to be able to put out their own series of cars, which I strongly suggest if you follow that link to the store, you check out their all their exclusives. Yes, you guys are selling this stuff for me. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. You guys are knocking it out of the park. Thank you for the participation, because I do have the live chat set on a record, so that people that aren't able to join us live, you know, because there's 8 of us here. I understand it's Friday night. People have lives. They certainly have more important things to do than watch me talk about cars in a collection. So I appreciate it, but I know that a lot of people have been watching these videos after they're recorded. So anything we put in there that can help grow the hobby or help out somebody, if I'm talking about it, go ahead and put it down. I mean, help everybody out, because believe it or not, guys, YouTube, and I know I'm I'm going to take the next 4 minutes and then I'll get started as like a prelude to everything, and then I'll recap, and then we'll just dive right in. But I get notifications of where the viewers are that view my videos, and just so you know, this HO hobby is global. I literally have viewers in Europe, South Africa, South America, Australia, Asia, and these are people that routinely watch, because I can see where the viewership is. And so, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And Don, or Dan, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm located in Springfield, Missouri, or Misery, as I tease everybody whenever they ask me that question. But that's where I'm located. Yeah, exactly. No, and that's what he'll do. And sometimes I've actually, you guys have all, if you, like most of you all, hey, Jack, thank you. Sorry, I didn't see you. It was scrolling pretty quick there. Um, Long story short, we've all been watching that live feed with Brian, and him answer the phone, and then he goes, okay, give me your credit card. And then the guy just starts ripping off the credit card, and he's got it on speaker. I'm sorry. But there are so many bad things that can happen when that happens. So it's nice to know that now he's got the little headset, and he's actually learned how to hit the get me off a speaker thing and quit talking to people like that when he's live. If I had one, it would be the Fox body. I know this is not going to be popular with a lot of people, but I'm a Mustang guy. It would be a Fox body Mustang from the body style from 87 through 93, because that's the car I drag race. And so that's the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart. Even though my first Mustang GT, just I'll throw this out there real quick. I got 1 minute left. It was an 85 Mustang GT. The first one that really grabbed a hold of me was my 87 GT. Yes, Fox body. Thank you, By the Beach. Thank you for backing me up on that, because I know there's a lot of GM fans. And I don't GM hate on this show at all. In fact, I admire a lot of their vehicles if you've watched my episodes. Okay, yeah, no, I will. Let's see here. All righty. So just to quickly recap, and then I'm just going to briefly highlight the 3 cases that I'm going to go through tonight. And like I mentioned last night, it took longer than I anticipated because I ran into some stories. I know this last case is going to take a while. Ooh, yeah, Jack, that'd be a good one too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get something that I'm familiar with of cars that are from my generation, that I remember when, I'm a kid of the 80s. So those are the cars, those Fox body Mustangs from 82 to 93, specifically the 87s through 93s are the ones that are closest to Scott's heart. Yeah, pastel blue. See, and that's the reason why by the beach I want them to do it, because like I mentioned, like I said, guys, this is no lie. I've emailed Auto World and I've emailed Race Masters several times telling them they need to focus on the 80s, because every manufacturer has a limited production car that so they could do a base model, and then they could do the the exclusives like the Cobra, or the IROC Camaro as an example. I'm just throwing that stuff out there, and I know that there's enough people in this hobby in our age group that remember those cars that would jump on them if they were accurately done. Not like the 79 Mustangs that TYCO did, and not like the little bitty new version Mustangs that Auto World did, if they're cars and copies and all that. Those ones I made my IROC series out of Viper chassis. You remember I told you guys. We'll get to that case later, but yes. Oh yeah, no, those are selling out everywhere. IROC Camaro. See, Clint? Yeah, see, I'm not hating. I want all of those cars out there because those are all the cars that I remember growing up with, and I honestly believe the first one of those two that starts focusing on the decade of the 80s and the muscle cars from GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and maybe throw in some of the imports, that were vaunted back then, because that gets into your Supras and stuff like that for the import crowd. I honestly believe they would have a knockout home run because of the age group that would hit. Just my opinion. Oh, well, Dan, you may have, obviously this may be your first time viewing the channel, and I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you liked it enough to subscribe and hit the bell, and then go over and hit Dan's and join us for the live feed on Saturday, tomorrow morning. But there is a Race Master set coming out this fall. It's called Horsepower Challenge, or I can't remember the exact name, but the first thing is horsepower. After that, I can't remember what the second little catchy word was. Bottom line is, it's coming out with a 2021 Shelby Ford Mustang GT500 Cobra as one of the set cars, and then the other set car is a 2021 ZL1 Camaro. So, like I mentioned in one of my earlier feeds when I rolled that out to everybody, that's going to be so freaking awesome, because Race Masters AFX here anytime now, as soon as they get their shipment in, is going to be releasing 2 new style Corvettes. So you'll be able to race the Corvettes against the 2 new that they're coming out with, the 2 new variations Heritage Edition Ford GTs. So you'll be able to race those 2 Ford Chevrolet American supercars against each other. And then with that new race set, you just know they're going to come out with newer Camaros and newer Mustangs, and that's just the prelude to it. And so you'll be able to have the Cobra Shelby GT500, which is the badass, and you'll have the badass ZL1 Camaro. Pardon me. Dinner. So long story short, is Race Masters is hitting it. I mean, they've gone in deep, and I love the way they've done it. They're pitting the old Ford versus Chevy thing, and that way you're covering both camps. And I wouldn't be surprised a bit if they start trying to work with Dodge to try to get some of the Dodge stuff in. Okay, so it all depends on the size, the series actually of the Auto World car that you're looking at, Dan. Like their T-Jet, their Thunderjets, as they call them, they're a much smaller car. And then their Magna Traction, or their X-Traction, their Magna Traction copy is called the X-Traction. It's about the same size of the older Aurora AFX cars, if that makes sense to you, for some of the smaller models. And then they have their 4-gear cars, which are a little larger. I'm talking, well, when we get to that case, you'll understand, because I'll put a TYCO Mustang next to an Auto World current Mustang, and you'll see what I'm talking about, the size difference. Because like I mentioned in my feed last night, HO manufacturers kind of play with the HO designation from 164th to 187. So, just all depends. Oh yeah, no, and by the beach, we're all winners for that. Bottom line, we're just all winners for that. Anytime, now, shots fired. Super International 4-lane race set used to be the king and the only bad boy on the block for what, 15 years plus. Now Auto World not only released their first 4-lane set in forever, if ever, I can't remember which, and someone correct me if I'm wrong. But now they're actually going up in the game with their own variable controller that you can slide adjust versus just having like a slow, medium, fast, three-way, the child, the intermediate, and the expert, like the tri-power pack on the AFX. They upped the game with their variable controller that you can control with a dial. And then they went one step further and went with Bluetooth controllers. And so I'm a AFX Race Masters fan. In fact, that's most of my tracks other than the drag strips. And I have like 5, I think, of those drag strips. But, like I said, I share the wealth. Yes, Cliff, I completely agree. And that's, if you've heard me complain about that on a lot of my cars, when I show them off, I show off, ooh, look how low it sits. I wish Auto World would take this hint. They'd sell a lot more cars, even though not a lot of people are happy with their chassis, just to buy the bodies to put on other chassis that actually ran. Just a thought. Which one? I got 2 of them. Yeah, they float in and out. They're mad because Dad's not paying attention to them. Sorry about that, James. Yeah. All right. So I could sit here and just talk slot cars all night long, guys. But honestly, I do need to get started on this. But I am going to interact here. So if you guys want to help out with any questions and stuff like that, then I'll be more than happy to let you guys take there. That's the female German Shepherd I was mentioning. That's 13 years old, and that's having some health issues. And so she wants to be around Dad, like at my feet constantly. So sometimes when you see me stand up and I'm having to, I'm dodging the dog, well, she's the one. And then the other little dog, that's Buster. That's my male. He's a rescue dog from the pound, and he's a mix of who knows what. And he thinks it's a punishment if I don't let him sit in my lap when I'm sitting in a chair. So anyway. Let's get started with the slot cars for tonight. I have 3 cases. Like I mentioned last night, I am going to go until these are wrapped. So stay as long as you can. Bounce back, bounce forth. It all is going to be recorded. So like I mentioned last night, if it shows 0, it makes no difference. I'm going to keep going. If there's something special about the car, I'll talk about it. If no one's there, I'll look and just obviously keep going. But if there's just one person going and you have a question, I don't care. Ask it. If you've got something to contribute, please put it in, because like I said, 90% of the people that view this aren't viewing it live. They watch it later after it's recorded. Like I said, I get to see all of these stats, so I got to play to my crowd. So I appreciate the people that are live, because they help the people that are not being able to be live be able to participate with what's going on, because I've actually had to reply to questions from the feeds. So thank you guys. Oh no, Dan, these are my I'll let you know, honestly, if I come across a car that I am selling, because I do sell multiples of a car. And if just so you know, like anybody that's seen my videos before, they're probably tired of hearing me saying it. If I have 2 or 3 renditions of a car, I keep the best one for my cases, and then I sell the other 2, because I'm always looking to upgrade my collection. So not every car that I have is perfect, but you got to start somewhere. So if I have a good foundation to start with, and then I happen to get lucky and find one that's better, then I sell the one that I had to help pay for the one that I just bought that's going to replace it in the case. So that's how that works. Cool. All right. So I put this one here as the teaser, because I'm going to save this one for last, because I don't want to blow all the viewership right off the bat. And that is what you're looking at here, guys, is a case of 47 TYCO Porsches, and 1 Marchand down here. So I'm going to save it for last, because there is a lot of things to tell about this case, and I could get hung on it for a real long time. So I'm going to stick it to the very last, and we're going to go through the other 2 cases. Not that they're not interesting. It's just that a lot of these Porsches are semi-rare or rare, and a lot of them are set cars only. And like I mentioned, while I'm putting these away, I am going to give all the information I can on them. And that way, if somebody's never seen one or they're looking to buy one, they'll know what to look for and to make sure it's authentic with the right chassis. And so anyway, the Porsches are going to be saved for last, but suffice to say, when I say I collect my TYCO Porsches, you understand what I'm talking about. When someone has almost 50 of them, that's saying something. We're going to do a little swap bopping here. And like I said, there's still, honestly, guys, there's not one of my cases that I could honestly say is least interesting than the other. I'll put it that way. I have a lot of really cool cars. I'm very blessed. And I've said that many times, and I'll say it many times over again because I don't take anything that I have for granted. Hey, Dave, thank you for stopping in. So I'm going to open this up like normal so we can get rid of the glare. And then I'll look at the TV and make sure that you guys can see what's in the cases, what I'm getting ready to talk about. And then nobody has anything, then we will get started. Let's see. I'm looking at the TV now. There's a little bit of delay. I'm trying, if you notice, I'm getting farther away from the camera because I noticed that last night when I was reviewing my video off and on while I was at work, it was still doing some of that clicking. And so I'm doing my best to make sure that we don't have to go through that click, 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 click stuff all night long. So let me get prepped here. Like I said, I can barely hear it coming out of the camera, but whenever it's getting recorded, that's a whole other ball game. Jack, I got these cases at several different places, but I usually go to Amazon, but I go to the Hot Wheels website. Here's my trick for getting these cases when they come in, because I did mention that these are Hot Wheels deluxe display cases that come with an exclusive Hot Wheels. So you're not just battling HO slot car people like me that want to try to get these things, and I say that because Hot Wheels makes these things for Hot Wheels. So the Hot Wheel community loves these things because they have that exclusive car. I personally, I think that car is cool, but I got other things to spend my money on than an exclusive Hot Wheel. I got exclusive slot cars that I prefer. But anyway, that in turn makes these cases sell out within the first 2 weeks at most retailers. So I go to Amazon. But like I mentioned, here's my trick, guys. Go to the Hot Wheels website, Mattel Hot Wheels website. Go and look these up, and then they will tell you that they're sold out. And then you email and you put down your email for the notify me when they're back in stock. And then they will email you when they are. And then that's when you can start looking at the retailers, like I do, like on Amazon, and usually get it shipped to your door for 40 to 50 bucks. And that comes with the car. And if you don't want that car, here's another tip. You can take that very same car that you bought off that case with that case for 40 or 50 bucks and turn around and sell that car on eBay for $20 or $25 like that. Jeffrey, I am, way too many hobbies. Either a blessing or a curse. I'm single, so it allows me to focus my money on things that I like. So since most men are just big boys, we like our toys, whether they be mechanical, like one-to-one cars, like I personally drag race, or it be actual toys that we had when we were kids. So I've actually had my first race set in the early 70s. It was a TYCO Pro set. It came with a TYCO Pro Chaparral lighted, and we'll get to see that car. I'm saving my runners and my childhood cars as the last two cases to show, to kind of wrap up all of the cars that are in my case that I'm bubble wrapping here and going through and kind of describing what they are. And then I was in the hobby for a little while. Obviously, I was into it until basically high school, and then girls and basketball took over. And then me and a buddy moved out when we went to college, and we had a 3-bedroom house, and we turned the third bedroom into a slot car thing. So in the late 80s, early 90s, got back into it again, bought some more sets that I'll be showing off later. And then when he went off to another college and I stayed here, it all got packed up until 2016. And then I asked some buddies. I was like, hey, if I get out my old slot car stuff, you guys want to, come over and race, once a week or something, so we can just all get together and have a, boys' night out, since we're all too old to go to the bars and look pitiful. And they're like, sure, that way their wives don't complain. And anyway, so that's how that all got started. And the next thing you know, we're 6 years later, going on 7 years later, and it's blown up to what you see now. I originally started out with like my original collection from a kid, and from when I started back in the late 80s, early 90s, was like 35, 40 cars, and now I have somewhere close to 1,000. See, Jeffrey, I used to hunt, I used to fish, deer hunt, coon hunt. I mean, you name it, hunt. I'm from Missouri, guys. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I grew up hunting and fishing. I grew up hauling hay, bucking hay for 2.5 cents a bale was my first job. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'll get going. So, last night I kind of went over some of the runner cars and stuff like that. Well, this isn't a runner car. This is just one that comes. I just got a good deal on it. This is the Dodge Stealth. We'll start off. Comes with on an HP7 chassis. This is the U-turn version, like I mentioned last night with the Fieros. I forgot all about the Stealth. I remembered the Viper version. And in case you guys were wondering, I thought after I saw that video last night, I might show you actually what I'm talking about with the wheels. They don't spin, they're locked in, and it's its own U-turn chassis, and you can see this here. And the reason for that is because these cars can actually spin, turn around, and go the other direction. And they're used in a lot of what they call their chase sets. So it was kind of a unique one, so I figured I would grab it and add it to the collection. Because I see a lot of the Viper U-turns and the Mustang U-turns, but I hadn't seen that one. So there's the first car of the night. And like I mentioned, I do have backups for my IROC series that we went over last night with the Viper, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. But this is just a green version that's a backup for that IROC series. So if one of the cars crashes and it's needing repairs, we don't have to sit there and repair it. We just throw another car on, because like I mentioned last night, that IROC series is just going to have tires on 440 X2 chassis. Why am I bubble wrapping? Because I'm moving. And this is the way, the easiest way that I know of to protect my cars without just leaving them raw in the case to get beat around, because it'd be plastic on plastic, and I got too much money in cases to take the chance. So this is the way I protect it, and then I put them back in those original cardboard boxes that they came in. And that's how I transport, or plan on transporting. All right, so I told you guys that this is just like last night, 3 cases. It's 99.9% TYCO. Well, we've hit our first non-TYCO car. You guys may have seen this from the tour of Scott's House of HO Racing at the very... I've got 16 cases total, James, and they hold 48 cars each. So this is the reason why I got this Lifelike car. It was supposed to be the car of tomorrow, or whatever they called it, with NASCAR. So, obviously it failed miserably because everybody hated that boy racer wing. But I do have the 124th version of those collectibles action. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to have those. And then plus, if you caught last night's feed, or if you haven't seen that video yet, a good friend of mine that I went to high school with is the head fabricator for Dale Junior Motorsports. Junior Motorsports, what it's called, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And so that's why I thought I'd get a couple of junior cars to, besides the standard Budweiser stuff. And then this is just the National Guard version, if I can spit it out. Remember that year he was sponsored by both of them, so depending on what track he was at, depended on which version of the car he ran. Oh no, man, you're good. That's why this is here. I'm all about the interaction. Thanks all 10 people that are here on a Friday night. I appreciate it. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get started, but whenever somebody's new to the channel, I want to make them feel welcome and give them a heads up on what's going on so they don't sit here blindly or, and maybe they'll tell more friends. Like I said, we gotta welcome everybody in, and I try to do that. I try to accommodate. That's, like I said, that's why I got back into this, was to help this hobby get back going like I remember it used to be whenever I was a kid, where I know they don't do it anymore because, we don't do anything paper, but I grew up with the Christmas catalogs, and so I waited every year to get the new Christmas catalogs so I could see what new sets that I could just sit there and dream about. Here's another backup Viper that I have. It's just black. Like I said, there's these aren't none of these Vipers are really highly collectible. That's why I don't mind just running them. So these are runners up until we get to a certain point here. Then I'll explain if you didn't see the earlier videos. Hey, good evening. A roll, Mr. Palmer. I'll put it that way. I'm sorry. And this is another new old stock. Yes. Oh, the old Christmas catalogs. I have a few JCPenney sets. If you go back and look at one of my recent Look What Scott Got, you'll see an original 1975 track set that was a JCPenney. It was called Smokey and the AFX Express. And I'm the second owner of that track, and it was complete and only used one time. So yeah, go back and watch that video. Your jaw will drop if you haven't already seen it. So anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Vipers. We've all seen the Vipers, red, yellow, blue, da-da-da-da-da. And the only thing special about those two right there, if you remember the track set that I got, that Viper track set, well, there's the two set cars that I'm keeping, and the two cars that I'm selling will be two of the cars that are going on eBay. And once again, I'll just bring them both out just to reiterate, because I do see some new people here, and like I said, I want to make everybody feel welcome and not assume that people know what I'm talking about. So the Vipers I just showed you had pipes. These set Vipers do not have pipes. That's how you can tell the difference if you're looking at a red or a yellow Viper. If it has pipes, then it's not the set version. If it does have if it's blank like this, then that's the set version. If it does have the pipes, then it wasn't. So that would be your easy way to tell. So that's how they made these two cars exclusive for that set. So obviously these aren't getting sold. These are staying in the collection, because that's obviously the track that I bought so that I could put it with these cars, and then I'd have the full Monty, so to speak. Put these in here real quick, and we'll go down to the next row. Yeah, I'm glad to see I wasn't the only one that sat around waiting on those Christmas catalogs. I mean, like I said, guys, that's no lie. I mean, can you guys remember going into your local Sears? And I was lucky. Mine was in a mall here in Springfield. I can talk and pack. And anyway, they had one of those pre-made Aurora scenery sets in a bubble that they were allowing kids to play with, and the line was halfway through the store. So basically, it was just everything I could do to see it go, ooh, ah. Here we have a Miata blue version, HP7 chassis, older car. This is a nice looking rendition of the Miata. It'd be a good little runner if you're into racing them, because of its small lightness and the lightweightness of the body. If you're a collector, you want to make sure that it has both mirrors and obviously the driver's head. And there's really not much else other than the windshield that's going to pop off. So everything that's damageable is right in there with every Miata. I was going to do a little Miata class, but I was like, man, you're investing a lot of money in all these cars. You might want to think about just keeping some of them instead of just trashing them all. That's why I showed one of the runner cases last night. But anyway, and we're going to run across more runners. like I said, they all got jumbled up because this is the second time I've done this. The first time I did it, I just didn't do a live feed. Same car, just green, tan interior. I mean, like I said, good little rendition, chrome rims, HP7 chassis. This here, I will put this one up here because that's what's kind of cool about this one that I like. If you'll notice, if you look real close, they put the green outline for the windshield mount up there. So they actually added some detail instead of just making it all clear. So, they went that extra step. Yes, Adam, I was quite disappointed. I don't know if you saw the one I was talked about. I have all those. If you've ever been to the AFX Race Masters website, and these are set cars, so I'm going to get them out, and it goes with that Lamborghini Challenge. Anyway, I had all those posters that I was going to put in frames just to go around with all the prepackaged cars, but then I started running out of room. And then I bought 3 more of these cases for overflow. And when I put those up and then I started putting up my new acquisitions, then I actually had to move 2 cases out into the hallway. So this room, yeah, has literally got wall-to-wall cars. And I only go down to about 24 inches. I think that's where my bottom is. Yeah, always envy. Yeah, because they gave away one of those sets to the kids. So, Merry Christmas, here's part of your pay. Yeah, I'd have died to have been one of those. So this is the 2 set cars kind of go along with the Viper set right there, the red and the yellow. Well, this goes with the Lamborghini Challenge set that I just recently bought. So how you can tell these are the set cars, once again, if you're into collecting, the set cars with that one have the actual word Lamborghini on the bottom sill there on both of them, and they don't say TYCO on the wings. Nice, Adam. Yeah, see, it's very popular. It's but these Countachs are a dime a dozen on eBay, so you can get them fairly cheap. And just in case a lot of people don't know, if they're not familiar with the TYCO chassis, there is a 440 wide and a 440 narrow, and the narrow is usually on your Indy cars and F1 cars and stuff like that. But this is one of the few hard body cars that TYCO produced with that narrow chassis. So just a little heads up. So if you ever see one of these and it's really trashed and you've got a narrow chassis, Indy car that you need a new chassis for, look up one of those cheap Lambos and use it as a parts car. Just a suggestion. The wish book, yes, Dave. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I actually have it, and I'll show it in the last packing of this room. I actually have the last Sears catalog that they ever put out. I believe, yep, got it right down there in my bookshelf. So we'll keep going. This bad boy is actually a super duper double looper car. It's just a new old stock loose on a HP7 chassis. It is the vaunted 300 Nissan ZX. Can't miss this car going around the track. I'm looking at the TV. Yeah, you can see how bright orange that sucker is. And so put that bad boy on the track, and there's no doubt you're going to see that's your car. So I had one in the bubble wrap, and I was like, that car is just pretty kick-ass. And I dealt with this vendor before, so he offered me a good deal, so I jumped on it. Like I said, sometimes my reputation precedes itself. If people see I'm interested in something, they usually know that I'm interested in buying, and if they make me the right deal, that the cash will come out of Scott's wallet if he has it. And I mentioned I'm a 300 fan. Last night I showed off the 75 and the 76. I mentioned that I had 6 of them that were out of the package, and these are the other 4. This one here, a lot of people may not have seen. This is when they had their little Total Control Racing, but this is actually on a 440 X2 chassis, so it's not on the correct chassis. But I don't care. That's a good looking 300, the blue, the yellow stripe, chrome rims. Someone did it right. So, you know, it doesn't have to be authentic to get in my case. I thought it was a good looking car, and it was on a brand new chassis. So how can you go wrong if you like 300s? And I do. Low and sleek. There's a few other of my viewers that like those too. Them and the 280s and the 240s. I'm a fan of those. You know, I like my American muscle the most, but I can appreciate the import stuff. Now, out of all of them, I think honestly, guys, this is the best looking one. I better hold my finger there to keep it from doing. That's that like a titanium with a silver with a red stripe that two tones it right there. I love that dark over light. Kind of reminds me of the Ford Harley Davidson pickup when they split that with the silver and the black. This is just a dark gray and a silver with a red line. I think this is the best looking 300ZX they made, but that's just my personal opinion. I like it. Pretty sleek. Once again, HP7 chassis. All right, we have 10 people. Thank all 10 of you for being here. I appreciate it. Like I said, feel free to comment below, ask questions, chime in. If you remember the Christmas catalogs, you know, throw that out there. And this would be the last 300ZX that I have currently in my collection that's loose. I'll specify that. I have others that are on the wall. This is the red version. Like I said, it's a good looking car, so I trying to get all versions. There's a couple of versions that are a Japanese version only. And if you are a first-time viewer, you may have not seen any of my other videos. I draw a line in the sand whenever I'm looking to purchase cars, and when it reaches a certain dollar, then I quit bidding, or I'm done. Or if it's just too much, I don't even look for it anymore, or show interest in it. But anyway, those two cars, I was in it till the last minute, and then a couple people came in with a bigger, deeper wallet than mine, and blew me out of the water. So here we have some overflow of my Porsche collection. And this would actually be a duplicate car. This is the, and it even says it right up there on the front corner. I know it's not going to come out in this camera, and if I get it too close, it's going to start that clicking. But in red, it says 935, just like it says Porsche in red there, and Porsche there, and Porsche there. This is a perfect rendition of this car. It's on a 440 X2 chassis. I mean, just looking at it, since I've gave it the old Novus love, you can't even see scratches in a reflection when you're looking at it. I mean, it just literally pops for black. So I originally thought I was going to do a series with these cars, but when they're in really good condition, I've noticed now on eBay they start pulling down some decent money. And like I said, I started realizing I had a lot of house cars, and I really just need to start focus on either collection or hopping up the cars that I have instead of buying a bunch of house racers. So here's another version of the house racers. This is on a lighted HP7 chassis. Once again, the one I'm keeping is actually in better condition than this, and you would be hard pressed to find hardly anything wrong with this one too. I mean, I actually had, that's why another reason why I decided not to do it. I was like, man, these cars are old. Not a lot of people have them or have access to them. And so, once I keep the one that I want, then I sell the ones that I don't. So these will be going up for sale, I'm sure, real soon, probably after I move. The only sellers that I have right now are already set up for eBay, because everything else is packed up. So keep these in mind down the road, if you're a Porsche fan. Okay. So this one, as you can see, it's a very common one. I mean, you see this one on eBay constantly. So, I mean, there's nothing really all that special about this one. I think it's even a 5 rating availability. That's how popular and available it was. Just different chassis that they put underneath it. Just so happens that this one has the yellow wheels. So, but you can see that a lot of the tampo's worn off of it when we get to the Porsche side, and you can see over here, to my Porsche collection, I'm sorry, and then it's worn out over here. So that's why I was going to actually, probably sell those 3 and keep this one as a runner because it was already kind of worn out. And I did want to see one of these racing around the track. So what better than yellow to hop up and be able to see going around the track. Hey, Ryburn, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Thanks for spending some of your Friday night. Hope you had a good week. I saw you on the chat earlier. Didn't know if he was going to make it tonight. Like I said, I'm going to be here a while, so I understand people float in and float out. Haven't missed much. I'm just barely halfway through the first of 3 cases tonight. And here's another lighted HP7 Porsche 935. This is the black and green version. I'm holding it to keep it from rolling with the white wheels. Like I said, it's all OG. Look at that tempo. I mean, it's all perfect. That's why another reason why I said I decided not to make these runners, because they are so old, and a lot of them that you can find are just trashed. And so I know I personally wouldn't mind having that in my case as a show car. And so I figured, somebody else wouldn't mind having it to race if they want to choose to do that with it, or more than likely if they're a collector, they're going to do like I did and just put it in the case and show it off to their friends. Because like I said, I don't know. Let me look at the TV real quick. I want to see if that reflection's coming out with that black. Yeah, you can see. Look at that, guys. Mirror. No scratches. Sweet car. So, if I'm talking this good about this one, then the one that I have is pretty damn sweet. All righty. And the next one here, probably a lot of people have seen it. I got this off of Pro Tinker. I don't know if he still has any of them left. This is what they called one of their kit cars. They made one of these too. I believe it was a Thunderbird that you could do. So basically, this is how the car came from TYCO, and it was sold this way. So it was for those people that like to customize their own car and put it together. So if you notice the wings there with the little post stanchions, so that you can paint it, the glass is there, so you can paint it and do what you want to, and then apply the glass. Oh yeah, no, I've been watching some of those replays, Ryburn. Whenever I finally get done doing this, and I'm doing house chores, and I finally get in front of the TV, I've been going to bed at like 1 or 1:30 every night this week. But yeah, it's because I'm catching up on all the racing that I'm missing that I normally watch when I'm off work, instead of moving, live streaming, stuff like that. So yes, I have been keeping up with it. Some of those cars are just jaw dropping. Like if you're into one-to-one cars, you just look at them. It's like rolling museum pieces. So anyway, they also made 3 versions of this with that were Japanese release only. That came in this little set that were like Can-Am type cars. And I've been trying to get my hands on the remaining stock car one that they did for here in the U.S. And I want to get those other 3 that they did for Japan. But like I said, with everything, I have to sell something before I can afford to put something on the wall or in the case. And those are above the price range where I can go at this time. So, it is what it is. I don't even bother wrapping this one, because this is exactly how it came. And you can't really break what's not already, it's in there solid. This is how it was shipped. It's how everything was. So nothing moves except for that wing, and nothing can smash it. So. All right. Now then, if you also remember, I'm going to put both of these up here because, once again, if you missed the opening of Look What Scott's Got, I was opening up my latest rendition of track sets. You saw that I got that 1978 Night Glow TYCO set. And on the front, it had the number 9 and number 51 908 chrome Porsches that were lighted. Turns out that obviously, they don't make those sets for just 1 year. They'll just update the cars. And these were the set cars that were inside of it, or these versions of it, I'm sorry. I already had a pair of them, but I didn't know that's what was inside the box. I honestly thought it was the others. But anyway, so I've got not necessarily these 2, but one of each of these versions of these cars will also be sold with the other Porsches here real soon whenever I move. But these were the set cars that came with it. These are 1981 originals, lighted HP7 chassis, I believe is right. No, I'm sorry, HP2s. lighted HP2 chassis on both of them, original. And like I said, I just so happened to own the track set that they substituted the cars on the box with something else that was current. So that tells me that that track was sold in 1981 or thereabouts, because that's the earliest that you can get either one of these Porsches. And like I said, I'm a big Porsche fan. I've only been fortunate enough to own one of them in my life, and then a kid in a Mustang ironically thought that he would be cool and race the guy in the in the Porsche. And whenever he went to go ripping gears, his ass end kicked over and wiped out the front end of my car. So that was the end of the Porsche. If you were with on the Look What Scott's Got, this is just another, you see that little thing there. It's supposed to have a little flag on it that says TYCO for the Total Control Racing. This is the version of that. It says it TYCO there. And if the camera would view it, it actually says TCR on the license plate down here. And I got a really good deal on this. I thought it looked cool. It didn't have that TCR chassis. It had this, and as you can see, it cleaned up really nice. It's nice and shiny and clean. So it's got a runner chassis. So this is a runner, obviously, and that's why I bought it. I got a good deal on it, and it was kind of unique. Wasn't your everyday F40 that we all see for sale. Let me get this one in here. Okay, cool. Considering I got a late start because I was yippee yapping, we're cruising. I'll bring this over here. See what we can see. See if I can get you guys a better angle. I'm looking at my TV now, and like I said, it takes me a second, so I want to see if you see what I'm seeing, and so you guys can got to get a preview of what's coming. So if you remember the other night, which I know certain viewers, hey Dan, thank you for joining, buddy. You missed, if you just now logging in, which I'm seeing that you are, you missed the opening. I plugged your live feed 1 year anniversary for tomorrow, and it's also in the description of this video is the link to that live feed. And I've already told everybody be sure and hit the notification and subscribe and thumbs up on some of your videos. So, man, no problem. No, I'm pumped for you, man. I'm seriously, congratulations, man. You made a full year. Like I said, if you guys get on YouTube and look for HO slot car stuff like Dan and I do, Slot Valley Racing, you know that there's a lot of people that just don't do it anymore. They just gave up. So I don't want Dan to give up. I love his video content, and the only way that we can make him keep making more videos is if we show him support for doing what he does. Because like I've mentioned, and I'll keep mentioning it until either one of us gets paid, and neither one of us get paid to do these. We do these because we love it. So I'll shut up and get rolling. Like I said, I don't want to be here till midnight, but I do have to get these 3 packed. So I got this one the other night. So that's why I ended up with a runner. I recently got another one of these sets that I got a really good deal on. Turned out the cars were damaged in shipping. And then one of the viewers of that video ended up purchasing that car. I thought I got him a pretty good deal. He agreed. So, you know, it's all, you know, if he would have argued, I'd have negotiated, but I thought it was fair and he thought it was fair. So it worked out for both of us. And that's the way I work, guys. Yeah, no pay yet. No. This has been literally, if you guys added up the hours that I've been on live stream this week, this has literally been a part-time job. So if you add in my full-time job, this part-time job of live streaming, and then you add in my online business with Scott's House of HO Racing, and then you add in the eBay business stuff, and then the moving and the packing. Oh my Lord. So anyway, here's my perfect rendition in the bubble of that one for that set, and my perfect rendition of the Charger. So even though the one that I just got came in damaged, bless his little heart for the poor packing, I still have my perfect rendition. So I've still got my perfect track set. Yeah. I have a saying, and I know it sounds corny, but I'll sleep when I'm dead. And the reason why I say that is because I'm one of those people that is go, 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 go. So I'm the early bird gets the worm. So, you know, up by 6, to bed by, 2. I try to get at least 4 hours of sleep. But I've heard that's killing me. So maybe I'm putting myself to sleep quicker by not sleeping enough. All right. So here's one that besides that Build It 280ZX that I showed you down there, the kit car, which is really rare. So if you go to Pro Tinker's site and he still has some of those available, if you're a collector, I highly suggest you grab one. If you're not a collector and you just like building your own cars and painting your own cars, here's your opportunity to do a 280ZX just the way you want it with a running chassis. So I would jump on that bad boy if you're interested in that. Get on Pro Tinker. And like I mentioned last night, test shot bodies. I showed a test shot Monte Carlo. Well, here we have the test shot Dodge Charger in orange. And so this is, in case you missed it last night, this is what they do is what they call a pre-production run. And so basically they gave the manufacturer for TYCO the dimensions of what they wanted. And then the toy manufacturer, the actual guys that made it overseas, made a few of them that they put on trees. And then they cut them off, made them like they would if they would be ready for sale. And they ship them over for approval. And so these are what they call pre-production blanks. These are just set up for approval only, yay or nay. They make their changes and then they make the production runs. So these are a little harder to find. And when you can grab them, I suggest you do, because they are a zero. Because they don't know how many of these were made. They don't know if it's the version that was actually put in production. And they also have not been assigned a part number because they don't know how many was made. So these are pretty cool to find. So if you guys are collectors out there, even if you're not a collector and you just want it to race, I mean, that's a pretty cool color car to have. And you can put your own, decals on it if you wanted to. Yeah. I was going to say, I think that's the good fortune I've been getting that when I got those track sets, Jeffrey. So I agree with you. I think that was where the Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder was, like I mentioned, on one hand, life was blessing me with all that slot car stuff. And on the other hand, life was, kicking me in the nuts with the moving and everything else. So like I said, the yin and yang of life. And I'm just glad there was a yin and in there to go with the yang. Won't spend a lot of time on this one because it was in the show last night. This is just another copy, and I got another copy of it. It's not going to be for sale. This is just for my own personal, for my diorama for my track. But this is a really, really old version of this one, and that's another reason why I got it. It's a non-mag track chassis. So that's what's unique about this one. So that's really, really old school. That tells me this is authentic mid-70s, 73, 74, 75, somewhere in there. So it'll look good on the track, on the diorama. I've got a lot of old authentic Faller and Aurora and TYCO buildings that are going to be part of the diorama. I got the pit garages and stuff like that, grandstands, bleachers, curved bleachers. Yeah, got a lot of money in that stuff because it's old and it's authentic. Anyway, this is another one of the look what Scott got. I won't be the hand model, sorry. Keep forgetting I got that piece of track here for a reason, but it's going to be kind of hard to see it because it's the Batman Tumbler. This is a set only car. The only way to get that is to buy the actual kit, because this came out, or the set, I'm sorry, this came out during the time when Mattel Hot Wheels Electric Racing quit doing, there we go, now we can kind of see it, individual cars and did set cars only. So when I saw, if you've not seen my previous videos, I do like Batman and is my favorite comic book hero. So when I saw that one, I jumped on the chance to get it when it was within my line, my budget. And here's another look what Scott got, except this time it's a little more polished up than the last time you saw it. It got the Novus love. It's just your standard 440X2 Z28 Camaro, what I call the cheese wedges or the pie slice or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Had to have something to race against the Mustangs on the track, so that's why I bought it. It's a runner. I'm trying to look. yeah, it's part of the 2-car supercar set. This particular red one is that came with the Rain-X version of this Camaro. So that's where that one came from. I've still got, obviously, I looked at the wall there. We're going to, I think Sunday's the day that the live stream's going to be doing nothing but tearing down all the carded cars that are surrounding there. I literally have cars that surround this whole room. And if you were with us last night, you saw the Bobby Labonte version. This is the Dale Jarrett version of the Interstate Batteries stock car, and this is the Lumina whenever he drove for Joe Gibbs Racing before he went over to Robert Yates. So pretty cool to have that one. I've got this one in the Labonte Brothers twin pack that I'm looking at straight ahead of me that came with the Terry Labonte Lumina. So that was one of my newer acquisitions that wasn't in the original tour. And if you were with us last night, you saw that I went over the rarity of the Dodge Intrepid and how there's only 2 of these as set cars that were ever produced by TYCO. The only 2 Dodge stock cars that you're going to find are this one and the John Andretti number 43 Betty Crocker Cheerios. Exactly, Dave. Yeah, no, see, that's the thing, you know, without his money, he'd be nothing. But what I like about it is he, you know, other than going to the fancy parties and stuff, you know, he doesn't really flaunt it out in the general public, so to speak. He uses it for those kick-ass toys that we all wish that we had the money to be able to buy. You know, I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to be able to fly or to, like with that tumbler, crush cars like a monster truck? I'm just saying, that'd be cool. And then not get arrested for it, you know, do 10 to 20 in a pin. But anyway, I was fortunate enough to get one of these cars still sealed in the bubble wrap from that set. So I know that that one's going to be going up in value just because of the rarity of Dodge. For one thing, being the only 2 that they made. And then if Dodge is rumored to get back, they're rumored, in case you hadn't heard, to be getting back in, they're working with NASCAR to get back into NASCAR. And if they do that, then that just means those TYCO Dodges will be worth a little more money. Okay, so if you remember the Sight and Sound set, these are those set cars that I opened up the other night. This is just one of them that's sealed in the baggie. So that's how I knew this one was going to end up being a runner, because I knew I had a brand new one in the bag. So I won't spend a lot of time on it. We've already seen it. I don't remember that, Adam. What? If there's a YouTube of it or of that episode or something, share the link with us. That'd be cool. I think I have. Yeah, I don't know. The Adam West version, right? Here's one of those Exide or Exidy, however you want to pronounce it, sealed. Even says it right there, TYCO with the part number 9162. Sealed in the bag. Won't spend a lot of time on it. We've already seen it. Once is one of the racers that I showed off last night as part of the stock NASCAR Truck Series. And then I've also got one of these that's carded on the wall. And obviously I have one of these that's brand new sealed in the bubble wrap. So, you know, I've got that number 7 truck covered. And here, I'm going to slide that truck over because the next truck you'll see here is a really hard one to find now. So I'll put it up here. It's a sealed baggie. It's the JCPenney's number 75. Here, I'm gonna look at the TV real quick and make sure that it's not glaring out. There it's yeah. The reflection's kind of killing you there. But suffice to say, this is a hard one to find. This is still sealed, brand new. Obviously, you can see it's still sealed in the baggie. This is obviously a JCPenney exclusive. So you used to be able to find a lot of these, and then all of a sudden, more people had the same idea like I did, want to race the trucks, and they're gone now. I haven't been able to find them anymore. when they do pop up, they go for good money. All right, gotta reach down here and get some more bubble wrap. And here we have another sealed one from that Sight and Sound set. Those are the two cars that came in that set. I knew I had these in the bubble. So now I have two sealed cars to go with the track set that I bought. So it's just like having an opened new track set. So won't spend a lot of time on this one. That's like I said, that's how I knew these two were going to be runners. I knew I had two in the bubble. They've been in that bubble for over 20 years. They'll probably stay in that bubble until I sell them and somebody else opens that bubble. All right. So you can see here we have a troubled Mark Martin car. It's a runner. Long story short, some of the tabs have been broken off in there a little bit, so the chassis doesn't want to stay in there. So it'll be a two-sided tape job to get it to run, but other than that, the body's in good shape, and it's the not the most common Mark Martin one that you see. So here, I'll put it on the. It's not the most common version, and like I mentioned last night, I am a Mark Martin fan, so this was an easy choice for me to get. And like I said, I knew it was going to be a runner. I've already got a couple of them that are new in the package, so doing a little work to it's no big thing to make it a runner. Some of that two-sided tape. And this is just one that I got to eventually get tires for and sell. So it's a seller, the 75 Pontiac Valvoline. Doesn't look like much now, but trust me, that's Tampo's in some pretty good shape. Oops, sorry, I heard it clicking. I don't see any link at them personally. I don't know if anybody else does. I see something that says test. Okay, cool. Thank you for confirming, Dan. So once again, once I get moved, this will be a seller. Once I get tires on it, because it's a runner already. I've already got a better version that I'm going to keep. This is the Michael Waltrip number 30. Same issue as the last one. Somebody had broken off the tab, so it'll be one of my house runners. Put a little two-sided tape on it. Let her rip tater chip. Oh, wow. Yeah, some of those are copyright restricted. In fact, if I was, by some miracle, being paid by YouTube, my Batman video that I made, I wouldn't have got paid for because I used too much copyright content without permission. I was a bad boy. But when you're not getting paid, who gives a damn? Just saying. This one's actually going to be a seller, the Michael Waltrip number 30 Pontiac Pennzoil, once I get moved. It's on the correct HP7 chassis. Like I said, there's some sellers in here. There's not going to be listed here real soon because, like I said, either I'm got to get tires, or I just don't have time to do all the pictures and stuff like that because all of these cases and they need to be moved this weekend. So I got to get these all packed. All right. And if you saw the feed last night, you saw that I had a string of 57 Chevys that were custom painted. These are some of the Ferrari F50s that same gentleman did. Did you really, Dan? Wow. See, no, YouTube, if we ever make it to where we get paid, you better walk that straight line, my friend, or they will kick you off that monetization fast. It's insane. So that's why, I don't mind doing these live feeds. Unless I have music playing in the background, I'm pretty safe. But anyway, that same guy also did some of these Ferraris. I love the color that he did on this one. Like I said, he does a really good job on them. He actually makes sure that he just doesn't paint them all. You know, he left the black out in the tail, and he takes out the glass, and he actually blacks them out in the grill area like they're supposed to be. So, you know, he does a good job. Like I say, he paints them and clears them, and puts them on a new 440X2 chassis for like 35 bucks. You know, you're getting a really good looking custom car, in my opinion. Hey, we're up to 15 people. Thank you all, and thank all 14 of you that have hit the thumbs up. Appreciate that. This is just a solid red Ferrari. Nothing special about it. In fact, I think it's one of the more common Ferrari F40s. Just solid red with red wheels. Nothing in the TYCO Bible. They even say that, you know, there's nothing unique about this. It's just a really good rendition of it. So I like the foreign sports cars. Plus, you know, it's a wide body, so it's and it's low and it's sleek. If you can't see, look at that. So it'd be a good runner. Yeah, I think so. And then we'll go back to another custom one that guy did, and he did it in one of the same shades of blue that he did one of those 57s in. Oops, sorry, I got a block of YouTube pop up telling me that somebody posted a video. So that's that same shade of blue that you saw one of my 57s in, that's got the sparkles in it, metal flake. And then if you'll notice, I mean, like I said, he took his time. The wing is painted black, and then he left the rear black out, and then he did the front grill again too. Here, I'll slide it up. And then it's on chrome rims, and like I said, he sold them with brand new 440X2 chassis. I mean, how can you go wrong for $35? I mean, that's a sweet looking ride, man. If you like Ferraris. If you don't, you're probably going, what a waste of money. But if you like Ferraris, you know, that's pretty slick looking car in my book. Yeah, great color. Thank you, Clint. Yeah, see, thank you, Dan. See, I'm not the only one that thought that was cool. And honestly, I looked at it in the camera on the TV, and you know, yeah, it looks cool here, but not being able to see that metal flake in there. I mean, this is a really sweet looking car. So, yeah, seeing it in person, is my point, would be a whole different thing. And then this would be the last ones on the as far as custom cars go. Like I said, I support people that support the hobby, and this guy did a really good job. And so, if you remember the color of one of the F40s, he also on the 57, he did that on the Countach, and I thought that was slick. Like I said, he even did the air ducts are black. I mean, guys, if you were to get out a magnifying glass and look at it, there's no over paint whatsoever. I mean, there on the air ducts, I mean, excellent. I mean, he even did the Lamborghini logo. You can see it on the TV. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that my eyes could do all that, and I don't know if I'd have a steady enough hand to do all that. And it looks like it was painted that way from, yeah, thank you, Clint. Yeah. It looks like it was painted that way from the factory. I mean, even did the tailpipes back there. Here, let me look at the TV, make sure you can see them. Yeah, see, painted those silver. Like I said, good work, talented man. I wish he'd put some more stuff out there. All right. I'm not going to go over those two because I just went over them in the bubble wrap, and these are the two runners that I'll have from that Sight and Sound NASCAR set that I bought. This is Jeff Green, number 96, and this is the Ernie Irvan, number 4. Like I said, this is where I can make up some time for stopping and talking, is ripping through the ones that we've already talked about. And, oop, well, I get that, didn't we? All righty. This is on a curve hugger chassis. It's the number 8 Porsche. It's a lighted chassis, by the way. It is missing its smokestack, so this will be a seller eventually. Whenever I get a donor car that's the chrome's all crapped out on, and I put the chrome stacks in there, because I've already got a version of this that we'll see later tonight that is part of my collection. And this body was too good to pass up for this car. If you see these cars, they are from the 70s. Oh, yeah, sorry, Slot Valley Dan, I'm sorry. I can get you some pictures after I'm all done. I've just been running like a proverbial chicken with his head cut off since I got off work at 5. And that only gave me 2 hours to get some stuff done before I needed to try to get on. That's why I went on at 7:15 instead of 7. So sorry about that, man. Stretching the old Stretch Armstrong Scott, if you guys remember that toy, stretching him as thin as we can get him. But anyway, this is a good rarer. I believe this is a 2 or a 3 on the availability scale as far in the Porsche in the TYCO guide. So once I get those chrome stacks, it'll be pretty nice. It'll still be damaged because there is a little bar that goes back here that you'll be able to see, but it'll still be a nice car for somebody to have on display. It's really hard to find those with those rear bars still intact because they're really thin and fragile. So this will eventually be a 17. Yep, that's the one. Clip. Sorry, numbers are all starting to look the same. Love this version of this car. There's a dark yellow. Well, here, like I said, I'll quit doing the hand model thing. I got a piece of track. Let's use it. So this particular model, if you're a collector, there are 2 versions of it. There's a light yellow and a dark yellow. And I don't know that me telling you what shade of yellow this is going to make any difference unless you saw the other shade next to it. So we'll have to wait until we get to my Porsche collection. But this will eventually be a seller once I get it cleaned up and running. So it's a good looking rendition of that car. The main thing to look on this one is that tampo's usually wore off where you can't even read Porsche. And then you can see on both sides. And the only thing that's kind of messed up is the 5. So this one's not got a lot of road rash wear. You know, good looking car. All right, so we did it. Yay! Round of applause. Case 1 done. All righty. Those of you with a sharp eye, when you see this, when it gets in focus, will probably be able to see and go, hey, man, I thought you said these were all TYCO. Well, 99% of them TYCO. And we're going to run into some of that 1% in this one. Let me get a quick drink of the Mountain Dew here. Thank you all 12 of everybody that stopped by. And thank you to the 17 people, thumbs up. I appreciate that. So the first row I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because those were the 2 seller versions of these cars that I showed earlier that I explained that were set cars. They come in that Lamborghini Challenge. And then these 2 Corvette bodies, and I'll show them up here in just a second when I wrap these. They also came with that track set so that if you didn't want to race the Lamborghinis, then you could swap out and put on the Corvette bodies. And then I explained on those that they were actually some of the vet bodies that were molded without mirrors in the other video last night. So like I said, these are the 2s that I'm keeping because, like I said, I keep the best ones. But even the ones that I'm selling, yeah, they look just as good as this one. So it was just a toss-up. It wasn't like, ooh, that one's definitely better than this one. No, pretty much the same. So those cars that came in that set that I bought were in really, really good shape. Hey, Mike. Thanks for joining in, buddy. Missed you last night. I referred to you a couple of times. I don't know if your ears were burning. Oops. Obviously, I can't put those bodies on the track, but I'll try to. The only damage that actually was done to these is you can see the vet sticker, and even then you can see where this one's trying to peel off because of age. But that it's gone on this one. And like I mentioned, how you can tell the set vets is they're molded without mirrors. Oh, hey Cliff, see, yeah, I just recently purchased this set. And the reason why I did is because it came complete with everything, both the bodies and the Lambos, and the track and everything else was complete. It was insane for the amount of money that I paid for it. That's why I'm going to be able to give somebody a smoking deal on those Countachs, because I'm not out to make a fortune. I'm out to make friends and keep it going. If you saw my, I won't spend a lot of time on these, but I will get them out and show them just in case no one did. This is also from when I was showing off the TYCO track sets. These are the Ferrari F50s. The story on that was it's a complete track set. These are set only cars. They made 3 of these, but one of them they did not put in production. So you're literally looking at the only 2 Ferrari F50s that TYCO made. And the only way to get these, once again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, these are set only cars. TYCO Hot Wheel Electric Racing, and it says F50 on there. Got the F50 down there, got the little Ferrari emblems there. I mean, it's a cool looking car. I wanted the cars, and I ended up paying less for the cars, or close for the whole set, as I would have just for buying the cars individually off eBay or Etsy. So it was a good investment. It was like, well, if I can buy the cars for $80, or I can buy the whole track set with cars for $80. Let's go with the whole track set. So that's the way I went. And these next 2 are kind of hard to find. This is a number 2 Ferrari on the chaparral body with TYCO. It was one of my newer acquisitions, and we haven't even gotten to my F1 Indy style, and it's already full, so that's why that one's not in there. But obviously this is a highly sought after collector, because it is the like I said, the chaparral version of that Ferrari. Good looking car. So if you're a collector, that would be one that you'd want to look for if you're into collecting those. Thank you, Ryburn. Yeah, no, I mean, you can see, yeah, one of my fingernail could grab on one shoe, and on the other shoe it wouldn't be able to grab nothing. That's how little used this one was. And when I say I give it my novice polish, that this is what I'm talking about, guys. And this is what I'm going to be. If you were on the live feed with Tinker, with Tim and Ryan earlier today, I am sending Tim a bottle of this, so he will quit using the olive oil. He said if I bought it, he'd use it. Well, we're going to hold him to it. It's getting ordered tonight via Amazon and shipped directly to them. I told him he'd have it next week. He's going to get it. I don't care if I am in the middle of moving. A man's only worth his word, and I try to be a man of my word. So, and to those of you that are collectors, here's one that you're going to want to take a look at. This is, like I said, there are so many variations of this Ferrari shark nose. I shudder to think how many different there are, but hey, no, Jeffrey, no, thank you for stopping by, buddy. Continue watching this when you can. You have a good rest of your Friday night, and try to chat Dan tomorrow morning for his 1-year anniversary on his live feed. Slot Valley Racing. Check out my description. The link's in it below. And then check me out tomorrow because I'm going to be packing up more cars. I'd love to have you over. So have a good evening. So this one was the car that I purchased. Remember the Budweiser Dale Jr. car that it was the painted? This is the car that was purchased with that set. Yeah, I know he's got Ryburn. He's got all of his money invested in Goo-Gone. So yeah, asking him to invest in a $10 bottle of plastic shine to keep olive oil off of cars. Yeah, that might be too much. But anyway, so this is the set car that I was telling you guys about. That was the only reason why I bought that painted car that I knew obviously someone had painted on. And this was the car that I wanted. It's the set cars from the World Tour Racing sets. So that's the only way to get this Ferrari. And it's designated. You can see that white stripe there and the white tail fin right there. So that to me is a no pun intended red flag. Yuck yuck. That this is a set car because they only did that with set cars. Yeah, yeah, Adam. And teeth. Yeah, he was. I don't know if you guys caught him driving back. I only got to catch a little bit of it, but he was complaining about his poly grip. I was like, man, oh, just be happy. Just be happy, man. Goo-Gone Coke and filet nuggets. Yep, that's pretty much his diet. So yeah, that's a rare Ferrari, by the way. So yeah, that's a collector, not going to be a runner. Either one of those. And when we get to it, I will show you the track. If you remember, whenever I said bye before Evil Bay, I had a Mika Hakkinen car that I was selling that I already had a version of. And that's because I had that race set. Well, I was fortunate enough, and like I said, fortunate or lucky, however you want to look at it. Oh, I'm right there with him, Robert. I love my junk food too. You know, being single, you know, whatever's quick and easy, and I can push buttons and watch the microwave roll. This was the European version of that set that at the time I made that video that I was selling that other extra car that I had, I did not have. Now I have that European version of that set, and this is the alternate version of that Mika Hakkinen that has the orange, what they call accent stripes, and the American version is red. So now I have both sets, American and international, and I have both of those unique Mika Hakkinen Mercedes-Benz, and it came with the number 3 Ferrari in it. Oh yeah, Adam, did you see him today complain about the guy riding his ass doing 90 mile an hour? And he said, I'm gonna. I guess he was doing 80. He goes, watch this. I'm gonna go to 90 and see if he stays on my ass. And he did. Oh yeah, funny stuff. Funny stuff. And I don't think he understands that he was the bird dog. That's what those of us that speed on the highway, we'll let you speed and lead the way. Go right ahead, because the cop's gonna get you with the radar gun first, and I might have a chance to slow down before I get hit. That's what I call those people that I follow. Like, I don't ride people's asses like it sounded like that, you know, that guy was doing to Brian, but yeah, bird dog. Arr, arr. All righty, and we've already seen this one. This is the vaunted Cheerios Dodge Intrepid. This is a used body that I bought separate as a body only, and then I put a brand new 440 X2 chassis underneath it. I don't know if I'm going to sell this car or not, but if I do, I'll let you guys know, and it'll be available for sale. I had thought about keeping it and using it as a runner because I had the other Dodge Intrepid Caterpillar car as a runner. But I got to thinking about it, and that's such a rare car. That's a set car only. You know, maybe somebody else would like to enjoy it with their collection. So I'm not going to destroy it by racing it yet. It's still basically what would be considered, you know, used, new, old stock, because it's half used, half new. New being the chassis, the used being the body. But great shape. So we'll wrap him up. Not going to spend a lot of time on it. I like that just because it's unique. You guys know I was a Bill Elliott fan, so I got me a new old stock Ford number 11 body. Won't spend a lot of time on that. Wait until I get the correct chassis for it. Stick it in there. This one doesn't even really belong in the case, except it's a night glow. It's a new old stock body that's just missing the glass. But it lights up, so you know it's pretty cool when those two vets light up that little area of cars, or with any of the night glows that I have. Yeah, no, I think he'd be safe, Robert, as long as he didn't say what mile marker and what state he was in. You know, if he didn't identify where he was actually committing the crime, I think he'd be all right. Here's a set only night glow vet. This is a red. There's a blue. This has the mirrors molded in to the body, not separate, and they are there versus the other I showed you in sets that were molded without. So that's what makes that one kind of unique. Besides being a night glow, like I said, I'm ripping through some of these that don't have a lot of pizzazz or interest in them. Robert remembers because he was asking about if anybody had seen the guy that made resin bodies, and that got me started on this whole. This is my only resin body car, the number 5 Gremlin, because I had originally as a kid, and I still got it. I'm not going to get it out. We're going to wait. The number 67, I think it was, Gremlin, the red and the white one. So when I saw the chance to get one of these as a resin body that someone had done up, and he done such a good job on it, I jumped on it. Because getting the original version from the TYCO version is quite pricey. I'm not the only one that likes those Gremlins. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Adam. He every time I turned around, I was hearing McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. Waiting in line at the drive-thru. Oh, Ravenous fan, Ryburn. That's funny. Oh, and if you saw last night, you saw the Camaro funny car that was all checkered, and I had 4 of the Mustang funny cars, so I figured I better get 4 of the Camaro funny cars. So I like I said, I've been getting into this chrome because I know that these old cars from the early 70s that were chromed that are in perfect condition are getting few and far between, and their value is going to go up. So whenever I find a good chrome older TYCO, I invest in it. And it just so happened that this was the Camaro number 33, all chrome on a curve hugger chassis. All right, and here we're going to jump manufacturers. This is our first Aurora car of the 90 FX. This is just the Dodge Challenger, if that serves me correctly. Plymouth Challenger? Oh, hell, I don't know. It's the 43 knockoff, we'll put it that way. There's so many different variations and colors of this one. But once again, I like those older Aurora stock cars. I like petty. And this just happened to be one of those, I'm sure, that was probably thrown into a set. And it was in excellent shape. And it's on the correct Magna-Traction chassis. So once again, once I got it at the right price, I jumped on it. As you can see, it shines, no scratches. The tampo's all there. This is a good rendition of this car. Oh yeah, no, Adam, I was glad to hear that he got a lot of interest in his exclusives from the other distributors or other shops, retailers. That was a good sign. That's a good thing. Like I said, I only got to catch parts of it. That was one of the parts I caught. All right, so before his untimely death, I was a Davey Allison fan. I liked him. I liked him more than I liked his dad. mainly because he drove for Robert Yates Racing, and I was a big fan of Robert Yates because he made the Yates cylinder heads for small block Fords, which were the NASCAR heads. That layout that he saw, Mike, that track was that 4-lane, if you saw that, was that 4-lane Auto World track that they're coming out with. So back to this one. This is the Davey Allison Thunderbird. There are a couple of versions of this car because, believe it or not, this is the version that's the rare one. They spelled Davey wrong. I don't know how you do that, but they spelled it D-A-V-Y, and it's supposed to be D-A-V-E-Y. So anyway, they made a few of them wrong, and then they corrected it. So if you ever want to get one of these and you want it to be the collector, Texaco Haviland with Davey Allison, you want it to be the most expensive one and you only want to own one, then make sure it's the one with the misspelled name. And any picture that you see, be able to see that. But that's the unique story behind that one. Somebody got by spell checked. Yeah, exactly, Davey. Right there, my, you know, he was like, I'm sorry, guys, but time out. This has got to be funny. You know, he got a brand new exclusive. You know, he got one of the first packages of the car, and he goes and shows his friends, family, hey, look, I got my own slot car. And then someone had to go, hey, man, I think they spelled your name wrong. How pissed off would you be? Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, look at it this way. At least you had a slot car with your name on it, even if they did spell it wrong. I'm just saying. Here's a couple of those TCR TYCOs. I'll put them both up here, but they're not on the TCR chassis. They're on 440X2s. They're just new old stock bodies that I acquired and stuck new chassis underneath. They're Ford Thunderbirds. I'm a Ford guy, so obviously that's why I got them. And that's not one you see all the time. And you may see this one. There's a couple of different versions of this car, and they had what they call the cost cutter car. And basically it's plain. They don't have the big TYCO across the hood, and they don't have Monroe. So there is a cost cutter saving version of these two cars, these two Thunderbirds. And in case anybody was wondering, that's what they call those cars that don't have all the sponsors. They call them cost savers, because they don't have to pay all the royalties because it doesn't have some manufacturer's copyrighted product name on it. And that's why AFX Aurora Race Masters doesn't call their stock cars NASCARs. They call them stockers. They don't want to pay NASCAR their stupid licensing fee, and I don't blame them. Honestly, guys, just throwing this out there, you would think manufacturers would voluntarily give their stuff to hobbyist manufacturers just so they could get their name out there. Free advertising. Why are you charging? I don't know. Just my 2 cents. Okay, so these are a couple of oddball. They don't even belong in there. If someone out there can tell me what the hell brand these are, that would be awesome. But these are bigger than a 167th, and they're smaller than a 143rd. These came with some other cars that I bought. It looks like a couple of Thunderbirds. They both run, but there's nothing that I've been able to find that even remotely tells me, I can't get them out. They, like I said, they're lighted, and so the lights go up in there, and it was a real pain in the ass. But as you can see, these are the older, like Thunderbird Super Coupe, the older body version Thunderbirds. So, like I said, bigger than or smaller than a 143rd, but bigger than a HO. I don't know, some off-brand. I don't know. They're not going to stay in the case. They're just there to get out of the way. Yeah, no name set cars. Yeah, it looks like honestly, a cross between a Tommy Turbo, and those shoes remind me of the HP7s right there. So I don't know. In fact, I'm not even going to wrap those up and put them. They're not case worthy. That'll just leave me a couple spots open for something else. I just stuck them in there because they were in the way. So we'll move on from the mystery cars, and we'll go to another old school. Now, those of you that collect these old Auroras AFX, you know that where those two holes are, there should be a wing, and I know there should be a wing too. But the Tampo, the 15, all the stacks were there. The driver's head was there. And there is a vendor on eBay that sells those wings. So I'll get one of those 3D reproduction wings and I'll stick it on there. But that's a good looking car on the original closed rivet, non-magnet traction chassis. Yeah, Robert, I agree with 100%. If anything, they should be saying, hey, man, how much does it cost us to put our name on your little itty bitty cars that you're selling? Yep, yep. Instead, they go, how much are you going to pay us to allow us to put our name on your car? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you want the free advertising? I mean, half of all new businesses fail because they fail to advertise. And here you got somebody doing it for free and you want to try to jack them. Anyway, I digress. We'll get back to the slot cars. So believe it or not, this is one of the Hot Rod series. This is the one that says Venom on it. And you can clearly see it's got damage on it. It's been nicked up. Some of the paint's come off. That's not supposed to be there. But overall, it's in pretty decent shape. But I bought this one to go in if you were with me last night and with the rest of the live crew here. This is one of my Marchand. I thought that too, but then they're too big. I didn't know Marchand made that size. See, Don, that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, if a kid keeps seeing Goodyear, and they grow up and the Goodyear's planted in their brain since they were this tall, then what kind of tire do you think they're going to want to buy? I don't know. Maybe Goodyear's? Just saying. I'm just saying. So anyway, I bought this one. It usually goes for a lot of money, but a lot of people dodged on it because they wanted it as a collector. I just wanted it as a runner. So those little, the McDonald's, yeah. I went ahead and got it, and I got it for less than $30. And normally these things sell for 35 to 40 if it's in more decent shape. But like I said, this is part of my American Graffiti's class cars. It'd really be easy to see out on the track. This thing's practically glows in the dark by itself. All right, so we kind of flew that one pretty quick because there was a lot of duplicate cars in there. And then I ditched a couple of cars that shouldn't have been in the case in the first place because I don't even know what the hell they are. I even looked inside the body, guys, and there was nothing inside the body that told me what they were. So it is what it is. We'll go to the cars that I do know about, and that's these right here in front of me. Well, I know a little enough to talk about them anyway. I know enough to talk about them. So here we have that whole row is set cars, so we might as well start with the first set. I am going to be acquiring this Jurassic Lost World set whenever the opportunity arises. I'm in no hurry. Time is on my side. As you can see, I've got both the set cars. These are set exclusive. That's the Nissan. That's the Hummer. I'm sure you guys have seen. In fact, I've got one of these for sale right now. I think like $25. Pretty cheap. It's used, obviously. These are on the 440 chassis. I don't know if that's showing up. I'm trying to stay away from the camera so it don't click. But suffice to say, these things are like brand new. It looked like somebody just opened them up and didn't even run them because there's not even scratches on the shoes. And there's no carbon buildup underneath, so the motor hadn't been ran on either one of them. So when I saw these, it was like having two new set cars, and I knew that you see these sets on eBay every so often, so I figured, what the hell, let's go ahead and get them. Kind of unique. You never know what's going to be worth a lot of money down the road. Just because you may not like it or like it doesn't mean someone else does like it or will like it. So got to kind of throw a lot of spaghetti on the wall, focus on your interest, but then maybe kind of go outside the box just to make sure you got some of your bases covered. And that would be basically this row, because I do have this track set and I did show it off the other night. and I will be selling these sets of trucks. So since we already kind of gone over them, I won't go over them again, but these are my two that are staying in my set. I've got two of them that I'll be listing on sale on eBay. And this is from that haunted highway. Remember, Dan? The Nissan truck. Yeah. I'll put Robert. I'll put the description, my seller name on eBay in the description of this live stream when we're all done tonight, and then you'll be able to go look at pictures of it right there and blow it up. And then if you want to buy it, holler at me. You know I'll do you right. You've dealt with me in the past. These are almost like brand new. Yeah, it's on. It should be on eBay now. Should be. Maybe not. No, I'm sorry. It'll be on there Sunday. My apologies. I just took pictures and made the ad today. See, like I said, everything's blurring together. My apologies. But I'll still put my seller's name from eBay on here so that you guys Sunday can see all the cars that I'm trying to sell. And then if any of you want to or interested in any of them, get a hold of me and I can make you a better deal than I could on eBay. So anyway, I'm going to put these away. I've got the haunted highway set. It came complete. I showed it off. It was the one with the eyeball rolling guy. These are the trucks. No bent roll bars. Really good shape. I think all I have up there right now, Robert, are on my eBay seller site is just a bunch of like buy it nowers, which are still good cars. I'm just saying they're not. I don't think they're a lot of the ones I'm putting up for auction. The super rare eyeball, yeah, the rare one, yeah. Who would have thunk it? Alrighty, so I'm going to do these two because they once we're on, might as well keep the set theme rolling. But you can see why I put these things together because this was all the 40s Ford coupes, and then I put the 57 Chevys together. But these two are the set cars from my Sparkin Hot Rods that I own the set of now, and these are both new old stock. So I have the new old stock cars, kind of like I have with the stock cars with the Super Sound NASCAR series. Those are in bubble, and these were new old stock loose bodies and chassis, obviously, but I bought them complete. And so, you know, I've got basically a new open Sparkin Hot Rod set. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, no, I'm going to put it down there, Clint. Trust me, I forgot to do it. That was we can all thank U of M for that. That was his idea, and like an idiot, I was more concerned on trying to put Dan's stuff in there and the Pro Tinker emails stuff because they, like I said, they want to try to get everybody's opinion on starting prices on the cars that they're going to be auctioning off next week, and then they're going to take an average of what people say in their emails. So this is your chance to participate on what you think a car is valued at, and then they're going to start the auction and price it accordingly. So thank you for asking, Clint. I will get it in there. And then let's just stay on top here so we can go down. Another 57 Chevy. These things bring a lot of money on eBay now. There's a lot of people that are collecting these. This is the one with the trick tape on the top. I'm sure the lights are going to get whited out. Red and black, number 24. It's in really good shape for being used and being as old as it is. It's on a 440 X2 chassis. And like I said, these 57s can get pricey. Yeah, Cliff, yeah, I thought so. They, especially, so here, I'll put it back up here. So one of the things, if you're going to buy these, obviously, is the pipes, the front and rear chrome bumpers. We all know to check the post. But the one thing that's really bad on these is this trick tape, because that's an actual sticker, and those can get peeled off. So make sure it's all stuck down or it's all there as a collector's tip. And then I'm going to spend a lot of time on this one other than to point out that this is the one that I'm putting in the, obviously putting in the collector's case. I do have this one as a runner And if you remember, it didn't have the glass. Well, you can see there, this one's got the blue glass, which is pretty cool, which is original to this car. And like if you heard me mention, here, I'll bring it down. I think that they need to make more glasses exclusive, like when I talked about that AFX Porsche, you know, making them exclusive to the car, make it cool. Once again, one of those chromes. And just trust me when I say it's like a mirror. That's why it's hard for me to get it to come out. But this one usually goes for 35, 40 bucks. It's on a curve hugger chassis. And here we have another version of that Venom. We saw the orange version. Here's the purple version. This one usually goes for some pretty good money on eBay too. This is a new old stock roller, and I'd originally purchased it for that 57 shootout, but since it's new old stock, I decided, or for my American Graffiti's class, but since it's new old stock, I decided not to trash it because it is kind of rare. And like I said, I think it's pretty cool personally. I like that paint scheme, the purple with the venom of a snake skin, and I don't know, the chrome pipes, the chrome, yeah, like I said, reminds me of a Hot Wheel. That's what it reminds me of. And that's how I got started in slot cars. Started out making noises to make them move and push them, and then went to pulling the trigger and making noises and watching them move. All right, and then last night, as part of the show on my runners, on my American Graffitis, I told you guys that there were two versions of this 40s Willys coupe, and I kind of explained it. And I told you I would actually show you both versions because I had them, and they're both new old stock. So there, as you can see, the chrome version. So it's got chrome pipes, chrome grill, chrome windows, chrome glass. This is the gray silver version, silver, silver, silver. So there are two versions. For the kid with Hot Wheels, yes. And like I said, other than the chrome and the silver, they're identical. And yeah, it is showing up, so you can kind of tell the difference between the two. You know, that's silver being new. This is your silver, this is your chrome. But you can see it's a little more reflective. Good looking old 40s cars. I love the flames. Got to have flames. This will be a Pro Tinker exclusive. It has flames. And I guess you can see what's next. And this is also one of the ones we saw last night, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but just suffice to say, this is the one that's going into the display case, where the other one was the runner as part of the American Graffitis class. This is all chrome bumpers, chrome mirrors, I'm sorry, chrome windows, chrome pipes, chrome grill, chrome motor. Rad, yeah. It says, what did I say last night? Oh, the good and the rad, yeah. That's it right there. Man, last night I couldn't read it either. But good looking car of the 40s. I like it. It reminds me of an 80s street machine. Because I don't think in the 40s you saw too many of those running around with blown Hemis. You might have. I don't know. I wasn't around in the 40s. Rad. I like that. Good. All righty. And remember those Corvettes I showed last night that were all set cars? Well, this was one of the cars that came with that, and it's the I just need to get tires for it. It's not a seller. It's a Ford Coupe, and there's two versions of this one, and the one that's the rare one is the one with the tan top, I believe it is. Memory serves me correct. But other than just not having tires, after I clean this thing up, I mean, damn, most of the time I see these things, the headlights are broken off. One of the rear mud flaps is usually cracked off somewhere, or the glass has been broken, or the roof has been broken because they're two pieces. So on the HP7 chassis, it's going to be a good display car once I get the tires on it. Like I said, it looks like someone barely used it and then probably dry rotted tires just fell off. But that came with all those set Corvettes, the Stingray and that yellow one and the other two. I think there were 6 cars that I bought in that collection. And here's another 57. Now, if you notice, if you go to the TYCO catalog, this should have the number 57 on the roof and on the doors. And I did some research, and apparently they made this alternate version. So that's what it would look like if you ever see the car for sale or in the TYCO Bible. It's what it looks like without the number 57 on it, and it was made that way. I mean, it wasn't taken off, it wasn't scratched off, it was just never there. So that's pretty cool to have one of those kind of unique 57s on a 440 chassis. Like I said, that would be one of the ones that I have that they don't have a picture of in the book, but I actually own. That's pretty cool. And then much like the 40s coupe, Ford coupe, I mentioned that those are set cars that are different. And I mentioned that the 57 Chevys were the other one. And here you go. Here's that version of them. We have the silver version, and then we have the chrome version. I don't know how well it's going to be able to tell the difference on the feed, but so the chrome was the set version, and then that was the individual version. Other than that, that's the only difference in the cars is the chrome and the silver. That's the only difference in them, just like the 40s coupes. Oh, goody. Well, believe it or not, we're going to be able to close out this case with Aurora. Nothing but AFX. Yeah, no, he's not talking slot cars, Robert. Yeah, he's the king of hoe, just not the right hoe. Oh, crack me up. That's funny. All right, so I mentioned the other night on one of my I looked what Scott's got about being able to get one of those L&M cars and the Tampo and stuff. Well, there's like I don't know, 6 different versions of this RC Cola car. This one's on the Magna Traction chassis. I already got the new replacement stickers that are chrome, that are just like brand new, and this, so I wasn't worried about it. And I got the 2 sets for the 16 because the variant, I'm going to hold it here. This is what they call the rounded nose variant because the corners are rounded off. And then they have the square nose version, which has points. So there's 2 different versions of that body, 2 different 16s, and the other one is number 23. And so I got 4 sets of those repos. Now I just need to get the cars and go to town on those. And when I redo the stickers on this one, I'll do a video on it. The number 1 will not, Don, but the number 2 will. That's why I suggest to everybody, if it's got any Tampo on it, do not use anything stronger than the number 1, because there's a 3-step. They have a 1, 2, and a 3. The 3 being most abrasive, the 2 being the lesser abrasive, and then the 1 being basically hardly abrasive at all, if any. And that's why I only use the 1 to polish. And then this was I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. We've already seen this one a bajillion times. I've talked about it. This is my runner Ford Escort. It just got stuck back in the case, but we all know it's on the wrong chassis. It should be on a Super G Plus, and it's on a Magna Traction. But that's okay. I bought it as a runner, so I can put whatever I want to underneath it. And here's a couple of cars that probably a lot of people may or may not have seen as far as the Tommy Turbo versions go. And here's your vaunted Ferrari Testarossa. This car usually fetches some pretty good coin, so I was really fortunate to grab it when I grabbed it. Good looking car. Love the scallops. If you're a kid from the 80s, you remember this car. Miami Vice and all. Don Johnson. Yeah. Good looking car. Hard to find. And when you do find it, it usually costs an arm and a leg. So I was fortunate it didn't cost me either one. And I was able to add it to my collection. So I was really happy to get this one. This was a recent get before I started doing the look what Scott's got again. Doing them live anyway. Remember that one? Yeah. I remember seeing it, wanting to buy it, but I could never find any place that had it. And then, you know, by the time you remember getting it again, then no, you can't find it anywhere. And like I said, this one's no scratches. I mean, I got so lucky when I got this. Yeah. I call myself fortunate. And that's why right there, that was one of those fortunate gets. Hey, Dan, have a good night, buddy. I will see you first thing in the morning. I'll probably be on for a little bit, and then we're starting the big movement at 8:30, so I'm going to try to hop on first thing and congratulate you and join in for a little while. Have a good night, buddy. We'll see you in the morning. Thanks for joining. And here's another turbo that you may not have gotten to see a lot of. The vaunted Porsche 959 version. There's a couple of other versions of this one I'd love to have. I'd love to have one of these as a racer. The Ross blue and white one's really cool. Yeah, like I said, I love this car, but once again, can't ruin something that. Oh, PM, not AM. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow night. My apologies. The link to that video for his live stream is in this description below, just in case anybody missed that. So, good looking car. I love that Porsche. And if you remember, I said I also collect those buildings, and this Thunderjet, and this is an actual Thunderjet, T-Jet, Mercury Cougar actually came in one of those Aurora pit stops, pit garages that I got. So this is the one and only authentic Aurora T-Jet that I own, and it's this Mercury Cougar. Yeah, it came with that you know, those what does it say, Thunderbird and Corvette above them, and then they got the Dodge and the other one above it. Yeah, it came with one of those. I'm like, holy shit, car and garages, classics, both from the 70s. And here's another Magna Traction blast from the past, the Baja Bug. There's several different colors of this bug, but I love it. Green glass, perfect shape. Most of these have the chrome exhaust broken off of them. Good looking. Use Lego to make buildings. Yes, that's exactly what I did. I had Lincoln logs too that I used too. So yep, use whatever you could. So like I said, I love that little Baja Bug. Like I said, it's pretty cool. Got a good price on it. See, this is just like a trip down memory lane, guys. I told you, it's not just all slot cars. Every time you look at one of these, it's going to take you back in time to remember where you saw that car for the first time, or if you owned it, or if you raced it, or whatever. And then it just takes you back into that whole moment. And that's the really cool part. Not going to go over this one very much. I kind of went over it the other night. This is the butterscotch version of that Datsun truck, Magna Traction chassis. Got to get more of my wrap down here. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know. I don't know a lot about T-Jets. I just know it's a T-Jet because it's, you know, it's screwed in. and it's on an Aurora chassis because I saw the AFX part, but I couldn't tell you. I can try to. No, I can't either because, like I said, I was getting ready to try to pry it off. I'm gonna have a screwdriver here. I'd take it off and we'd check it out, man. Anybody out there know what this is specifically? Like I said, this is a chassis. It's on what it came with. It looks original, like with the T-Jet shoes, these little ski shoes or something like they called, or hump shoes or whatever. Anyway, even if it's not original, I got it for free. I didn't even want to. I didn't even know I was going to get it. I'll put it that way. It just showed up with something else that I bought. And, you know, who am I to say no to something free? Especially when it's a Ford product. Well, subsidiary of Ford product. How about that? Cougar X7 maybe. Yep. Are they copper shoes? Well, here, let's get it back out, Robert. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about T-Jets to tell you what I'm looking at. I'll get it close, and I'm sorry if it's clicking. I'll look at the TV. That's the chassis. It blurred out. I don't know. Don't look like it to me. But like I said, I couldn't tell you. I don't. That's the only one I literally own, other than the Pro Tinker, you know, their versions of the T-Jet with the Auto World stuff. But even then, I don't have any of them open. Doesn't look like the copper. No, it didn't look like it to me either, but I didn't, you know, I didn't want to presume to know that maybe they were coded that way or whatever, because, you know, I'll be the first to tell you if I don't know something, and I'm not just going to spit it out there just so I sound smart. Because Lord knows I don't need to do that, because I am no way, shape, or form smart, so I don't want people calling me out on it. So I only tell you if I know, and if I don't know, I'll tell you. But no, good question. Like I said, I just don't know enough about those T-Jets to be able to tell you anything else about it other than it came for free. This kind of goes with my Baja Bug. It's on a original magnet traction chassis. It's the one of the Ford Broncos. You can see there. You can still find these bodies, new old stock every so often, and even if you don't, you can still find them. You just got to watch out for that lower push bar right there. They'll be broken off. A lot of times these will be smashed or broken. They'll be missing the filler tubes for the gas tanks right there, or the driver's heads if it's been smashed and broken. Yeah, cool car anyway. That's why I said, you know, that's why I kept it to put in that garage on the diorama. That's where it's been sitting. I got it. I got the pit garage. I stuck it there, and I stuck that car right back in it after I got out and looked at it. It's like, hey, that's cool. A car that came from that era. And then if any of you have any of those pit stops, you know that those older T-Jets fit in there better than anything that's newer, because the cars got bigger and those little pit stalls were made for those size of T-Jet cars. So when you put a couple of Super G Pluses in there, even, they get really close together. Been my experience. I'll show that whenever I start that track, or start doing the diorama for the track. I'm sorry. So we were able to rip through that one pretty quick because there was a lot of duplicates. Pulled out a couple of mystery cars. There are some really cool cars in this one. I love the Aurora stuff that we got to finish with, the turbos and those magnet traction old ones there. The T-Jet, my only T-Jet that I do own. You know, little history there on the RC Colas and the different set cars right there. So, you know, a lot of interesting stuff in every case. There's not one case that I would say that just dominates another, because there's always something in one of these cases that makes it unique, just because there's so many of these cars, you know, 48 cars per case. So there's a good chance there's going to be at least a solid 10% of them that are going to be unique in some way, shape, or form, at least. Get this one set up. We'll get started. This is, I show this one with pride, I'll be honest. That's why you see me fixing the cars. This is, voila. This is Scott's collector Porsches, other than the ones that are new in the pack on the walls. And we've got a lot of exclusive, rare type Porsches in here that are hard to find. Might as well get started with the long nose, the vaunted red, white, and blue. Someone actually took the chassis sticker out and stuck it on the outside of the body, and I just left it there. I cleaned up the car and stuck it on there. Curve hugger chassis. It's lighted and it does run and it does work. Love that red, white, and blue. Been trying to get the chaparral version for a while, but once again, line in the sand, and once it hits a certain point, then I'm out. So, and if any of you were on the Pro Tinker feed today about auctioning, I forgot to put that on the thing. They've got a rare TYCO 908 short nose with a TYCO Pro chassis with wiper shoes, and a black pan. If you're a TYCO collector, you better be on the auction night. That is one sweet car. Hey Don, yeah. This is the long nose version of the number 2. They're selling the short nose version with, I believe, the red nose or the orange nose. And this is the long nose with the red, and they have a short nose with the red, but I don't have it yet. This is a really good rendition. Is still got the little stickers there that are usually worn off on both sides. And chrome pipes. I mean, glass isn't broken. This is a really good rendition of this car. These things are going for more money because they're more rare. And this is, oh, sorry, it's on a button chassis, Pro, TYCO Pro. There's the buttons. And the one that Pro Tinkers is selling is got the wiper Pro. And it's a black chassis and not a pan chassis like that. So they call it the black pan. So it's a pretty rare bird. So everybody needs to email Brian. And I didn't see anybody put in that email address for them. Oh, wow, cool, Mike. That's cool. Yeah, see, that's why I love these old TYCOs, because, like I said, that was my very first track. And my very first car was a TYCO Pro button chaparral lighted. So, you know, like I said, you never forget your first. Here's the number 7 version. Nice little Porsche. These are getting kind of pricey on eBay. Love this car. That'd be a good runner if you wanted to invest in it and race it. Perfect shape. It's on a 440 chassis. This is the Mattel version chassis, in case you're wondering. Hey, Clint. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your support. Have a good rest of your Friday evening. Try to make it by tomorrow for some of my wrapping, and then we'll all meet up at Dan's for his live stream tomorrow night. I'll do my live stream first so we can get some wrapping done so I can actually join in on his live stream. And maybe go to bed before 1:30, 2 o'clock. That'd be kind of cool. All right. And here's another Porsche. This is the number 9 Chrome. This is what it's listed as. And I don't know how well that's going to show up, but if someone threw this in front of me and told me it was brand new, I'd believe them. That's how slick that chrome is. And I actually have I will have one of these for sale Sunday on eBay. And the chrome on it is almost as nice. This is on a lighted HP2 chassis, and it's on a lighted HP2 chassis that runs too. So if you're a collector in Porsches, be sure and check out the pictures of that car. And if you're interested, get a hold of me, because it's going up there Sunday, and I can guarantee you somebody's going to snag that bad boy up, because this is as close to new as you're going to get. And the one I'm selling is just like this one. So got another one of the little short nosies here, one of the more newer models, except this has got a lighted HP7 chassis, and the lights do work, and it is a lighted chassis on purpose. Perfect tempo. The Porsche's there, the 56 is there on both sides. The Hella lights is kind of worn up there on the top, but you can still read the Porsche there, the 56 there, and the Porsche on the tail. So it's still a winner to me. I mean, no, it's not perfect, but damn, pretty close. You know, like I said, a little bit of, I can still read the words hella, so it isn't that bad. And Hella is the light company, in case anybody wondered. All right. Oh, like I said, I love my Porsches, and this is the number 9 version on, once again, a lighted HP7 chassis, which is the original go-to chassis for this car if you're looking to be a collector. Now, this one is perfect in every way. There is no tampo mismatches or anything on it. If someone handed me this car and said it's brand new, I'd believe them. Woo, right to the hand. And when I say brand new, look at those shoes. That's pretty awesome. Love, love, love those Porsches. Okay. I just sold. This was one of the cars I just sold. And I know why. It's because it's rare. It's listed as a 2. This is the white and orange number 3. It doesn't have the right chassis on it. Neither did the one I sold. That's all right. I'll get the right chassis for it. Should be an HP2 lighted. But the body was in such good shape and the tampo was in such good shape. That's why obviously the other guy bought it with the wrong chassis. So good looking car, and it is rare. So get the right chassis underneath it, and I got a super winner there. And here we have another chrome car. This is the chrome and orange number 3. Another good looking car. Lighted HP2 chassis. Like I said, love my Porsches. Those short nose are really, really expensive, and they're really, really, really rare. All right, here's a set only car. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Sorry, take that back. It's just rare. It's hard to find this one. I apologize. The next one's a set car. This one's not. This one actually came from Sweden, I believe. It came from overseas. I can't remember exactly where. It was just something unusual. Portugal? Yeah, Portugal's where it came from. Really good looking car. It's on lighted, and it's actually a lighted 440 chassis. And I'm going to show you guys what one of those looks like in case you've never seen it, because it's lighted from the factory, and not a lot of those 440 chassis were ever lighted. So there you go. That's what a lighted 440 chassis looks like. 440X2, sorry. Pretty cool. And it does run, and that light does work. So that's all original. Yeah. This one? Is this the one you were looking at, Don? This one here? It's on a TYCO Pro button chassis. Okay, so here, what I'll do, I'll put a short nose up against it. Well, my closest rendition of what would be a short nose. I think I can do that. No. My dog's sassing me. Like I said, he's used to sitting in my lap by this time. Nope, that's another long nose. That's why those long nose or those short noses are so rare. I'm trying to find. I'm down here trying to try to show you, but just suffice to say, it's stubbier. It's a stubbier car. This is the long nose, and there's the short nose, and it's just a stubbier nose up front. It's kind of hard to describe. Whenever if you want to go look at the Cars and Coffee or whatever they're calling it now, the auction featurette Friday that Tim just did, and just kind of take a mental picture on how long this nose is on this one versus the one they're auctioning off next week, because it looks really, really short. Almost like a chaparral nose, if that'll give you a reference. Oh yeah, man, no problem. That's what I'm here for. Like I said, share knowledge, learn, me and you. It's winter for both of us. Mine gold bottom with wipers. Yeah. Looking at mine, trying to figure out. Yeah. So yeah, there's two different versions of that wiper, Pro chassis, and depending on just randomness, there was no rhyme or reason. It would either come with these buttons or the wipers. And I think the wipers are really cool, just because you never see those braided looking copper, wipers on any other slot car except for those. Well, that I know of, that I currently play with. So, but the buttons are kind of cool, because that's what I literally grew up with, is the chassis that literally let your ass in, swing out, and let you keep going. So kind of like those Screecher chassis that I was talking about the other night with the Aurora. I wish I could show you an example of that short nose firsthand, but that's the whole first row of that Porsche and the Porsche Bible, and I don't have one of those cars in that whole first row, because they're all short nose 908s. I believe that's what they are. Yeah, it's a short nose, Don. Yeah, no, that's why. There's no doubt in my mind that someone's going to buy that car for close to $100 if they're a TYCO collector. If they don't, then I'll be buying it for less than $100. But I can't go that much. But someone's going to get a good deal on that car, just because of the shape and the rarity. Remember the pan on mine and on yours, it shows brass. That's a black pan, and those are even more rare. Here's a set car, only came in sets. 440X2, once again, lighted chassis. I'm not going to pop it off like I did the other one, but this is like the versions that we see here, except it's the blue and the lime. This is when Mattel had taken over by now, so they just copycatted the old TYCO design, changed colors, and put it in a race set, and made another version for me. So they kind of pulled an Auto World. That's what I call that. When you keep the same mold and you just keep pumping out the same cars with different colors, and that's what I call an Auto World. And here we have the fluorescent neon blasters version. Pretty cool. There's another version of it too, but I don't have it, obviously. That one's getting kind of hard to find. It's a set only car. My dog's really sassing me for some reason. I gotta check to see if my dog needs to go out for a second, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to clean up any dog mess. I'll be right back. I'll leave the case open. Sorry about that. That was a complete and utter waste of time. He just wants to play. All right. Northern Porsche, I believe it's like one of those super duper double duper type set cars. If I'm not mistaken. There's another version of this one too, color wise. But more of the kitty looking Porsche stuff than a real look, real life looking version. And remember, I told you guys already, I had showed this one off earlier. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but remember I told you the other one was in really good shape, and the one I'm keeping is in just as good a shape. Well, there you go. Lighted chassis that still runs just like the other one. And that's the reason why I decided not to turn those into runners and eventually sell those. HP7 lighted chassis. And then don't know if any of you remember the other night I mentioned that I'd gotten a couple of cars from a hobby shop in Costa Rica. And here they are, a couple more of them. The vaunted number 13. I actually had one of these I sold recently. Had the post broken out of it, but it was still in pretty decent shape. But this is the one that I kept for me, lighted chassis on a curb hugger. Good looking car. Like I said, came from a hobby shop in Costa Rica, so it's got its own little story behind it. It's a world traveler. And here's the number 13 in perfect condition. I'm sorry, 12. My bad. The other one was 13. This is the number 12 version. And this one also came from that same guy. This is the Gulf Porsche. And it also came from that same hobby shop. This one's pretty hard to find. And it's on a 440X2 chassis. All right, I got 6 of us here, and it's going on 10 till 10 on a Friday night. So thank you all for staying with me. I haven't gone below 5 people since I first started, so I'm impressed. Thank you all. All right, and if you remember, told you that I had a version of this to sell whenever I got moved. This is the lighted on an HP7 chassis that came in my Night Glow set from 1981. So that's why I was selling the extras. So that's we know it's a 1981 version of the car. It's lighted and it works. Sorry, gotta get out more wrap. Alrighty. And here is one that is gonna be something that if you're a collector, you're going to want to pay attention to. If you remember, I showed you earlier this number 3 and how I told you the one that I had some of the tampo wore off and I was going to make it a runner, yada, yada. Well, if you notice, this is the number 9, and they're the very same car except for the number, and that is a set only car, and it was released in Europe, and some of them have made it back and or in from Canada. So this one you may be able to find everywhere. This one you're not going to hardly ever see unless once every so often. I've seen it a few times on eBay, but suffice to say the number 3 outnumbers it about, I don't know, I see that one 8 times for every 1 or 2 times I see that one. So if you're a collector, that number 9 is the one you're wanting to grab. We already showed this one. It's on the HP7 lighted chassis. Showed it earlier as one that I was going to use as a runner, but I decided not to. I was going to keep it as a seller. So there's the one I'm keeping. That's why I'm selling the other one. We'll be selling the other one. And the one unique thing about this little bad boy is this is the version that was used in the TCR track sets. And remember on those other cars I told you that had those, there's the little TYCO flag. So I'm going to look. There we go. Yeah, now you can see it. But that's a new old stock body that I got from Slots and Stuff that he had. And then I stuck a new old stock 440 X2 chassis underneath it. So pretty cool. Made a runner out of something that I'd never, you know, be able to find the right chassis or get it for. So pretty cool. And here's another one we've already seen, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. The all black, it even says 935 right up there. You can see in the reflection, it's a beaut for being used. You have the number 3? Yeah. Like I said, the number 3 is really common. That number 9, Don, is the one that you're going to want to try to locate if you're trying to collect them, you know, or just to say that you know the backstory behind it now. So you say, oh yeah, man, this is a set version. You know, sound all TYCO knowledgeable. This one came in sets. This is a Goodyear Porsche. Good looking car. Number 5. Got kind of a white, purple, red with the yellow 5 and the yellow Porsche on the top, and the yellow Goodyear there. Then BBS wheels, crane cams as far as the sponsors on both sides. Like I said, Tampo's perfect. 440 X2 chassis. Here's one that I will be putting on eBay. I've got one new that's in the blister pack, and I've got this one, and then I'm selling one that's new on the blister pack. So a carded car, and this is the I think they called it the electric racer Porsche. So this will be going up for sale Sunday. Brand new, carded. Cool looking car, purple with all that stuff on it. And those of us that were with me when I got that 4-lane cliffhanger track, this is the car that I mentioned that I already had the one of that they showed on the box art. So we'll see whenever I get moved to the new place when I open it up if it is. And you can see this is a beautiful rendition of this car. You can even tell with the reflections and all that light, there's no scratches. It's a good looking car, 440 X2 chassis. And we're literally down to the final 24 for tonight. I wish I could say the final 24 for all 16 cases, but that's not the case, pun intended. No, see, Don, that's just it. I collect and I race, so I get it. Not everybody wants to collect cars, and the ones that do cringe at people like me that collect and race some of those rare cars. Like I mentioned last night, if you were able to catch my feed, a lot of those expensive F1 cars and NASCARs are going to get raced, and you know, like I said, I know I could get 50 to 80 bucks for a lot of those cars if I wanted to sell them versus race them. But like I said, you know, when you buy them for a certain purpose, and that purpose is to race them, then that's what you want to do. So I get it. I completely 100% get it. Sorry, all 6 of us. Had to take a drink. All right. Now, you guys have heard me talk a lot about test shots and test shot bodies. Here we have a couple of them. So if we're keeping count, this will be the third one. And this one was done in yellow. I'm sorry, in white, and I have another one in yellow. So this is a test shot. I got this one from Slots and Stuff. He still has some of them for sale. Something popped up on my computer. Oh yeah, that Gremlin, Don. When we get to my personal case, that's the only version I have of that one, and that was from my childhood. That's how cool I thought that car was, and that's why I got that number 5 resin body, because I call them brother sister cars, because I've been able to find one of those number 5s that was within my price range. But if I ever run across another one of those Gremlins, it's a good deal. I'll go ahead and grab it, and I'll let it be known that I have it and it's available. So once again, I just took one of those test shot bodies that I got from Slots and Stuff, and that's where the next one came from. And I just put one of my brand new 440 X2 chassis underneath it so I could display it. But there's one of the test shot bodies of this Porsche that I've been showing off here a lot. Hey, Jack. Welcome back, buddy. We're on the final 24. You just missed the first Porsche test shot body, and it was white. And this one's yellow. And so this will be the 4th test shot body that I have. So these are so far we've seen 4 0 test shots, and we saw 1 0 Xerox Ford Thunderbird. So I've got some pretty rare cars. I wish I had a lot more of them, but I won't be greedy. I'll be happy with what I have and thankful that I have them. There we go. So we'll put the 2 test shots up in there, and we'll actually get into some more production cars. And this is one of the ones I just recently sold that I had a pair of. The black and the gold on a lighted chassis. Chrome rims. It's an HP7 lighted chassis. And obviously you can see the Porsche's still there, the turbo's still there, and the Porsche's still there, and the stripe campo is perfect. No egregious scratches or cuts. Good looking car. That's why I sold the other one that I had, and it was a good looking car. Okay. I'm going to get these out all together because we got some different versions of the car here. So I figure I'll just put them all on there, and I know I'm going to look at the TV and see how well you're going to be able to tell the difference. Well, I want to try to keep those. Well, I don't know how else I'm going to tell out, but okay. So this is the version that's older that has the lime flames on it, and then this one has the orange flames on it. And if you remember, I mentioned that I ran across some versions of TYCO cars that weren't listed in the book. The first one we saw tonight was that 57 Chevy that didn't have the numbers 57 on it. The next one that I have is this Porsche, and there's no way you're going to be able to tell, but you're just going to have to take my word for it. This one, the flames are solid orange, and on this one, the leading edge of the flames are yellow. Okay. Then if I move this one out of the way, you'll also see this one that has the solid flames orange all the way to the front has the grille in the front blacked out. The one that has the yellow start that goes to orange, the grille is all red. We turn it around on the back side. The one that's all orange has a silver grill in the back, and the one that has yellow to orange flames and no grill paint is black in the back. Those are all factory changes that were done to that car that are not mentioned one iota in the TYCO catalogs or in the TYCO Bible. So obviously somewhere down the line in the production, there was an update, and I can almost see the update, and that is they added the flare of this. So they made it all orange and took away the extra cost of adding the yellow to the front of these flames. That's why there's nothing on the front there. That's why these are all orange and this one has front up there. And just to make it a little different so you could tell which one was which, they did one silver and one black. That's just my theory. Gold and black always nice. Yep, I agree. So there's my a couple of versions of the TYCO car that these are the two only official ones listed, but this one's it's a rare bird all by itself. I've had several of those. I've never seen that before. So if someone else has those and knows the story, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But those are just some specific differences that I was able to point out that I noticed whenever like I said, I get these cars out of the case once a month and wipe them down. And I was like, you know what? There's something different about this car. And there was. My dog's squawking at me because I won't let him up in the chair with me. So that's the sound you're hearing. He's complaining. He's not a happy boy. It's 10 o'clock at night. He's used to snoozing in Daddy's lap by now. This is the other set car. I mentioned I got in that night glow set. So that's the one that's going to be for sale. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'll just rip right through it. We've already seen it. Don't need to beat that dead horse. And here's the two versions of the one I showed you earlier. And I don't know how well it's going to show up on this live feed, and I apologize. But the subtle is different. It's a subtle difference, but in person you can obviously tell. I don't know how well you're going to be able to tell on this feed. But these are the two shades of yellow that I mentioned in the two versions of this car. This is the light yellow, and that's the dark yellow, if it even remotely tries to show. I'm trying to look at the TV to see if it's going to. Kind of, sort of. Not as much as it would in real life. But yeah, this is the light one. That's the dark one. And that's the two versions of this car. They're both on the curb hugger chassis, lighted. And that's the only difference in them. They both have the 158 on the sides. They're both good looking cars. And this is back in the day when you could put the old white silicones on it, and someone did it. And if you remember, I said once I buy a car, I just restore the surface and then leave the chassis as long as it's running alone the way I got it. And that's the way it came, so that's the way it stays. Three cats for one dog. Yeah. No. You know, it's not like I don't like cats. It's just that I prefer dogs. Does that make sense? Like I don't hate them. I just, you know, I'll pet them. I'm nice. And this one ought to look familiar to Mike and Steph, if Mike's still with us. And, oh, cool. Thanks for verifying, Jack. Jen saw this one extra that I had for sale, and she wanted to buy it, so Mike got it for her. This will be on one of their videos that they show. They got an excellent rendition of the car, just like I got. I love that. It kind of looks like cotton candy fading into blue. I love that fade paint job that they did. Really good looking car, especially with those chrome rims. It's on a curb hugger chassis. I'm smiling all the way through these because if you can't tell, because it was kind of like the stock cars last night. I love these Porsches. Here's the number 3 version. Lighted chassis. Almost perfect on a lighted curve hugger chassis, lighted. But look at that. I mean, it's not scratched, it's not tore up. I'm trying not to make my camera click at you guys, so I know we want to try to see it in focus, but up close. But if I get closer, that's when that camera starts doing its click, 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 click thing. Good looking car, easy to see on the track. You can find some of these that are pretty beat up and put a 440 chassis underneath it and get the joy of running it around the track. I tried to bid on one just recently, and someone went into the $20 range on it, and I was like, man, you know, I want it as a runner. I don't need to spend more than 20 bucks on it. So it was theirs. They could have it. The number 18 chrome version. I love that. The chrome and black. Pretty slick looking car. I believe I'm going to have one of these for sale on eBay on Sunday also. Good looking car. Curve hugger chassis. Like I said, I'm kind of digging those chromes that are all good and reflective without any scratches in them, because like I said, I honestly believe those are going to be some good collectors for the future, just because of the, you know, sheer numbers of them being ruined and their age, because, you know, we're talking about the 70s on those. All righty, here we have, oh, okay, cool, yeah, no, that's a good one. Don, yeah, no, that's a good one. Here's another set Porsche, set only. Number 3, red, silver, blue. Good looking car. No visible tampo wear on it anywhere. Got lucky, got very fortunate. This is the only version of this car I've ever had, and it's got the original shoes and stuff on it. You can see I can rub my fingernail on those shoes and it doesn't even hang up. That's how little use this had. That's why it looks so pristine. And we're getting to another older rare bird. And remember that number 8 I told you about, that's I believe it's a 2 in the TYCO guide, that I was waiting until I had the stacks to sell. Well, this is the complete version of that chrome number 8. It's on a lighted curve hugger chassis. And like I said, I'm trying to get all those Porsches, so well, I'll have that other one up for sale as soon as I can get those chrome stacks up there, so someone will have them a good shelf queen, or they can if they want to, they can bust it out and race it. All right, this one's kind of common. It's called the white lime and yellow number 4. One of the things to look out for these versions is this back area back here. That's really thin, and a lot of times it gets broken off. So if you're looking to buy one of these, that and the stacks up here on the top. This is a lighted chassis car and curve hugger, and the light does work. Good looking car. I believe I've got one of these coming up for sale on Sunday too. And here's a rare version. Like I said, a lot of these older Porsches are 2s or 3s, and so I may be getting some of them mixed up, so I apologize if I am. But this is the chrome, what they call lime green number 4, 917. How much? I don't have the prices in front of me, how much I wrote down, Cliff, but whatever it is on eBay, I'll be able to get you a better deal. So once I post those on eBay, just message me through my business or directly through my email, scottdanielmo@gmail.com. And I'm going to put both in this description of this video when we're all done tonight. And so, yeah, you'll be able to see them, look at all the digital pictures, and then just email me and say, hey, I'm interested in this car. How much can I get it for off of eBay? And then I sold a few of them like that this week. And I just pulled the ad off eBay as soon as I received payment. So easy peasy. Thank you for your interest. I'll be more than happy to assist. Like I said, I think I've got another version of this chrome number 4 on eBay right now, or going to be on eBay this weekend. Good looking car. It's on a lighted curb hugger chassis. Got the pipes. You know, like I said, chrome's in good shape. Good stuff. Oh, no problem, Cliff. No, thank you for asking, man. You know, like I said, this is how I support my addiction, basically, is I find cars at good deals, or I find cars that I want to put in my collection, and then I keep upgrading my collection. And then by doing so, in fact, I think that was the seller that I'm going to be selling right there. Well, no, maybe this is the other alternate version. Yeah, this is the alternate version. I'm sorry. So I better show both of these at the same time. That way you guys see what I'm talking about. So there's two number 4s, and I about wrapped them up and about told somebody that one of them was a seller when it wasn't. I apologize. So it's one of these two number 4s I know I'm selling. I don't know which one for sure. I apologize. And obviously this is the solid black number 4. It's with the lime, but it has no stripe. And this is the chrome number 4 that's what they call the yellow. So we got the yellow number 4 with the yellow stripe, and what they call the black 4 with no stripe. So sorry about that. It's late. I've been up since 6. And I got housework to do after this, so, you know, and I got to update the YouTube first. That one in there. And once again, since these are the same car and there's two different part numbers because they're unique, I'll put them both up here. This is the vaunted Porsche Gulf version. Both of them on lighted bodies. Now, you'll notice, I'm going to put them like this. No stickers or decals with decals, and that's an actual part number. It's made that way, has nothing on it. The only damage that's on this is it's missing all the stacks but one. And honestly, for a car in its mid-70s, that's not that bad. From the mid-70s, I'm sorry. And then this one has all the stickers and everything's all good in it. It has all the chrome pipes, but the chrome's actually started peeling off, so those pipes are starting to turn in orangish colors. So I'll put them there side by side. But there is several different versions of this number 8, depending on the year. They made it for a lot of years, this Porsche Gulf. And this is the 1976 version. I know that because that's the year they came out with the lighted curb hugger chassis underneath this particular body. So that's the one that one is. And this one's the same thing. Lighted curb hugger chassis from 1977. So a couple different versions of the Porsche Gulf. So don't be surprised if you see it without anything. It was actually made that way. And just as long as it has the bright lighted chassis underneath it, you're good to go. Oh, thank you, Cliff. Yeah. Hey, we're back up to 9. See, we got a lot of late night viewers, probably people watching stuff right before they go to bed. Like, hey, see where that bonehead's at with his collection. Get those both in there. Then the next car we don't have to spend a lot of time on because that was the same Porsche 962 or 3, I think. I can't remember. Like I said, these numbers with Porsche, they all start blurring together. But this is the one here. I'll put them side by side. That's the car that I was telling about that was painted black, that had all the stickers on it, that I used as an example in my how to remove paint with oven cleaner and how to do it correctly. And that's what happens when I left it in there for 8 hours. It ate off all the black paint. It ate off all the tampo, all the stickers. So this car should have looked like this if I'd have caught it in time and started doing the light brush thing like I did with the Dale Jr. car. So like I said, it was a good, cool mistake because that's a sleek looking car. Now you get the reference when I say it looks like a test shot, those of you that are here. And that's what it should have looked like when it was all said and done. So I don't think I wanted to have one of these as a runner. This is still going to be a runner, but it's still pretty damn cool. I mean, that's pretty slick looking to me. So it was a good mistake. I got lucky. Sometimes, like I said, I'd rather be lucky than good because even good people fail. Lucky people just get lucky. And believe it or not, we're down to the last two TYCOs. And then the only Marchon or however they pronounce it that I own. And it's a new old stock, and it's the reason why I got it, and then because it's that same Porsche 935 body style that I like. HP7 chassis, non-lighted. This is the BF Goodrich. I think I said it's a 962, 9 something like that. Number 67. This is a really, really good version of this car. Got all the tampo, the BBS. I mean, nothing's taken off of it. You can tell it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at the TV. The lights are whitening it out because it's white, but that ought to be a good clue that it's in really good shape. None of the tapos worn anywhere. I mean, even back here on the rear wing. So, really, really good looking car. I bought it used, and you can see on those shoes that this one doesn't even look hardly worn at all, and that one looks like it's just been barely touched to the track. See that? So, good looking car. I want to try to find one of those as a runner, and I will. Like I said, time's on my side on some of these cars. And here it is, boys and girls that made it, all 9 of us that are here. Thank you. We are down to the final 2. And what a good way to end the TYCO with one that's kind of rare that we don't see every day, and that's the Miller version of that same car. Whoa. Hey, buddy, I fell in the bag with all the all the bubble wrap. I'll hold it. So there we go. We got the good grief. YouTube notifications of people pulling me video on. Oh, are you talking about the Miller, or were you talking about the BF Goodrich there, privateer? Because I love both of them. I like this Miller, the High Life. Hard one to find, in good shape, let alone be able to afford it. Good looking car on the original HP7 chassis. Yeah, there's a couple of Japanese versions of this modeled car that I'd like to have to add to the collection. Like I said, gotta keep your. That's the thing I love about this hobby, guys, is you can never run out of cars to find and like. You'll run out of money before you run out of cars. Well, I'll run out of money before I ran out of cars I'd want to buy. I'll put it that way. And here we go. I promised it, the one and only last. It's a Marchon. That's the kind of unique at their chassis. Kind of reminds me of a Tommy Turbo and an HP7 mix, the way they did their shoes. But I got it because A, it was a new old stock, and B, as you can see, pretty awesome Porsche. Love it. Coney stickers, BBS again. And like I said, good looking car. I'll never run it. It'll always be a shelf queen because I'll never be able to get parts for it. That's pretty cool. Oh, both of them. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, no. That's why I love showing these is get people, see what they like, what they don't like, if they have one. Any of you guys out there ever run these Marchons? Or Marchons or whatever, however you pronounce it? I've never ran one. This is the only one, like I said, I ever owned. Had the opportunity to buy one, new old stock for $30, and I jumped on it. Like I said, I thought it was a good looking car. There we go. The third and final case. Sorry, I got to turn off my phone here. Or I want to do some math. I think I added up. I think it's going to be 146. 144. So we just got through packing. The other night I said like 146, 148. I was wrong. Whenever I said it, it didn't even sound right. But it was late and I was tired. Oh, Armac or whatever. Amarak. Is that what those are, Jack? Amarak? Is that what that one was? I thought it was a Marchon. Marchon. See, it's been so long since I bought it. If it is, then yeah, I'll correct myself and say it's an Amarak Porsche. But anyway, I just know I bought it brand new. I knew it was new old stock, and I liked the way that one looked. It kind of reminded me of that Gulf one that I'd shown earlier over here that I got from that hobby shop in Costa Rica. Sorry, had to take a quick squig. So basically, the way it's looking is if I wouldn't have flapped my yap for the first half hour, even a rusket. Oh wow, Jack. Man, you got some good stuff. And I know I went through part of your collection the other night when I was showing off mine. So you got some good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. So it took me about 3 hours to go through all of these. If I wouldn't have flapped my yap so much at the very beginning, it probably would have taken closer to like 2.5 hours. But then, like I said, these 3 cases went pretty quick because 2 of them had a lot of duplicates in it. So we didn't have to explain a lot or go over any details on them. But like I said, all 3 of these cases have some very unique cars, some that you may or may not have seen. I know that there was some education in there for all of us, because a lot of those I didn't know about until I actually got them and started doing research on them. And that's why I mentioned to everybody on the live chats. And even if you're watching this later, please, if you see any of these cars and you know of something that I've said wrong, kind of like I just got pointed out right here, I thought it was a Marchand, turned out it's an Amarak, or if I'm pronouncing that, Amarak, whatever. Anyway, and I got corrected. You know, I'd rather know that I'm wrong than go around and keep telling everybody I got a Marchand and turn and then someone goes, "Hey, dumbass, that's a totally different band." Been collecting since '68. See, yeah, you got head start on me, my friend. I didn't start till the mid '70s, and even then, I have decades of pauses in between. Like I was saying, thank you for everybody that's still here, all 8 of you. I'm amazed that 20 after 10 that on a Friday night I've got all of you here with me. Thank you for keeping me company, because like I said, I was going to keep doing these videos whether anybody was watching or not. I was going to keep it running. But it's much more fun when people are interacting with me than I would be having to argue with the dog or step over the dog or whatever. So thank you for stopping by. Now, I was confused on Dan's live feed. It's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. But once again, the link to the live feed is in my description below. So go ahead after we're done here, go over there, hit that bell. And if you've not already seen his last video, check it out, give it a thumbs up. And then I'm going to go on before he does. So I'm going to do moving in the morning and early afternoon before it starts getting hot. I'm going to come home, shower, clean up, and then I'm going to go live. And the goal tomorrow is to finish as many of these cases. I'm not going to put a number on it. I'm just going to do as many as I can, and then probably stop a half hour before Dan's live feed starts at 8. So I'll stop between 7:30, so an hour, half an hour, something like that. Give people time to give a break if they want to, or get prepped up for his 1-year anniversary video, because I know I want to be there, and I know everybody else that supports Dan does too. And if you've not supported Dan yet, please go check him out. Check out all of the people that make videos. I am going to get the correct email for the Pro Tinker Toys request that Ryan made and Tim made today on the live feed to give them suggestions on next week's cars, on what you think they should be valued at, and what you think the bid should start at. I believe it is support at protinkers.com, but I'm going to get that exactly, and I'll post that in the description too. But I do have a link to their website down below, irregardless to the Pro Tinker website. So if you're not a member there, you can join, and you can also join their YouTube, their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram. They're on everything, so you can join them in there. Hey, cool. Looks like I just got a new subscriber. So Sean Hurley, if you're viewing right now, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. And welcome to my Scott's House of HO Racing family, because that's what I consider. Everybody here is one big family and a bunch of friends that I've just made because of this awesome hobby that brought us all together. So it's 10:24. I still have housework to do on a Friday night. Still got dogs that are belly aching and complaining. So oh yeah, no problem, Cliff. Thank you for coming by. No, and thank you for supporting me. And Tom, thank you too. Appreciate it. Like I said, guys, I'm doing this as a share for all of us. So you guys have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Get out there, light some sparks and melt some plastic. And I will push out a notification tomorrow of when I'm going live, and we'll get some more of these TYCO cars wrapped up. Thanks again, guys. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.